This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
With LinkedIn Jobs, we tap into a network of more than 1 billion professionals to help you find quality professionals quickly and easily for any role you need. Marketing wizards? Found them.
Software engineers?
Found. That project manager I could never seem to hire? And found. LinkedIn Jobs quickly matches your roles with candidates with the right skills and experience. In fact, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Post your first job for free and get started at linkedin.com/decide. That's linkedin.com/decide. Terms and conditions apply.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 19, Episode number 4047. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and my cock. And you are the Men's Room. On tap today, the return of Who Sucks Less. We will play Profile This, plus headlines, the Men's Room Shot of the Day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Clack, clack. Drink and drive.
All right, here we go. Unite Flight crew wonders, hey, who pooped on that seat? Meanwhile, officers respond to a burglar with a bushy tail and 4 furry feet. Drunk Florida man goes to the airport and walks around in his birthday suit. A man finds a wedding ring, tries to return it to its rightful owner, who does not give a hoot. And a man whose wallet was returned after 40 years exclaims, I'm going to Blockbuster. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, a lot of people have called out from work sick. And we know there's maybe a 50-50 chance that that person is actually sick. But even if they're lying, no one really cares. You see, the key is that you say you're sick. Keep it simple. If you elaborate, well, the more likely you get busted. Case in point, a British Airways flight crew. They partied in Brazil and determined the next morning they were just too hungover to work. So they lied and said they'd been robbed. Well, now they're facing charges by Brazilian authorities for making a false report. Not to be outdone, a woman in Texas faked her own kidnapping to get out of work. But a woman in Utah, she wins the grand prize. She was already at work, but wanted to leave early. So she called in a bomb threat. Yeah, it didn't work. But then there are those co-workers she wished actually would not come into work. Yeah, I hope they call that sick. There's a guy in Minneapolis. He was fired after urinating in a co-worker's water bottle. There's also the janitor in Massachusetts who attempted to poison 2 of her co-workers. She wasn't trying to kill them. She just wanted to make them sick so they'd both have to go home because she didn't enjoy working with them. Now, messed up as these situations are, sometimes the only thing that makes your job interesting is something a little scandalous, right? As long as it doesn't involve you, it's usually pretty entertaining. And BuzzFeed, they recently asked its readers to share their scandalous work stories, and there's some doozies in there, but my favorite involves a woman who brought her daughter to work. The next day, a coworker said, "Hey, man, you can't bring your kid to work anymore I'm not allowed to be around children.
Oh!
Yeah. The things you don't know about your coworker.
Okay.
So today...
Jesus.
Yeah. Let that sink in.
Oh, man.
They had to walk up to you to say, hey, you can't bring your kid here because I legally can't be around children. So today we're talking about those all sucky moments that happen at work. It could be theft. It can be sex. It can be poisonings, fights, inexplicable critter visits. You name it. If it's weird and it happened at work, we want to hear about it today as an answer to our question. What is the craziest or most scandalous thing that's happened at your workplace?
To be a part of the big show, call 206-803-ROCK. You can like The Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send your emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
Introducing Coco Golf Signature Shoe. More than just a tennis shoe, it's a fusion of 90s inspired style and cutting-edge performance technology. With its sleek mid-cut silhouette, it's designed to enhance speed and power on the court. The multi-piece upper construction delivers high-energy return for players of all levels. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, the Coco CG1 empowers you to dominate the game. Learn more and purchase the Coco CG1 at NewBalance.com.
Shall I take your order, or do you need a minute?
Yes, I'll be ready. Just buying a car on Carvana.
What?
It's super convenient. I already got pre-qualified in 2 minutes. All I had to do was answer a few questions.
What? That's handy.
Yeah, now I'm customizing my down and monthly payments.
What? That's an exquisite deal.
And just like that, Carvana's delivering my car in a couple days.
What?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'll have the burrito.
Visit Carvana.com to finance your next car.
Financing subject to credit approval. Delivery fees may apply.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
In the new year, getting healthier is a big priority, especially for Hero Bread. With a new recipe using heart-healthy olive oil, Hero Bread serves up 0 to 1 gram of net carbs, up to 11 grams of protein, and high fiber in every delicious serving. And they're now using olive oil, an antioxidant-rich oil shown to reduce cholesterol and minimize the risk of heart disease. Try it today with code IHM10 for 10% off your purchase at hero.co. That's hero.co.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Hold the cellos, away we go. Welcome to Season 19, episode number 4047. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. Guaranteed future repeat. The exciting return of Who Sucks Less. Steve, I don't know how you do it. You find people doing bad things in the news.
Oh, yeah.
You bring us 3 of those stories a week. It's up to us to determine out of the 3 which one sucks the least. How brutal is this week's Who Sucks Less?
I would not say it's brutal, but you have people that it's shocking what makes them angry enough to attack you. I've never heard this one before. We'll share that one. A coworker actually fit in with today's question today. Clearly does not like her other coworkers. And finally, a company that went through great lengths to get people to quit.
Oh, okay.
It's mind-blowing.
Right.
Mind-blowing.
Who Sucks Less is coming up, and obviously, as we encourage you to download that Odyssey app and check out the Men's Room and all of our podcasts, do yourself a favor if you like to listen to us when you head on the road or if you happen to miss a show. Subscribe to our daily podcast. It'll download it into your app automatically, and you can catch up with everything. And, of course, if you want to check out any of our weekly podcasts, they are all on there as well, including our weekly Best Of podcast, about 45 minutes of the best that we possibly can do every week. Also, the Greatest Story Never Told podcast, the podcast, Megacast, Men's Room radio station, all in one place. That is on the Odyssey app. So download the Odyssey app, then search for the Men's Room, and you'll find all things on one place. And today on our question, we've all worked at different locations in our life. We've all had different things that went down in the office. Some of them, in my instance, I knew were going on at the time. Others I did not find out till after the fact.
Sure.
A lot of companies do a pretty good job of keeping you out of the loop, and then you learn why someone doesn't work there anymore, maybe at a later date, and kind of find out what went down, or maybe you were a part of something that was just completely ridiculous at work. And it runs the gamut from all kinds of things, from things that coworkers end up doing together, or situations that occur with customers in work environments, whether that is if you were ever a bartender and something crazy went down, or you were a waitress and spilled crap all over somebody, or whatever the deal is, man. It was just one of those things where you're like, oh my God, I cannot believe this has happened, at my place of work. And we're going to talk about some of those things today, and some of the most scandalous things, too.
Scandalous.
We'll start with this one. Upset that the woman had turned down his romantic advances, a Minneapolis man urinated in his coworker's water bottle.
I can't believe she turned him down.
Conrado Cruz Perez, 47, charged with 2 counts of adulterating a substance with bodily fluids.
Adulterating?
Adulterating.
Adulterating. Wow.
Yeah.
It's weird when you get charged with something. You're like, Your Honor, I don't know what this even means.
The first count is a gross misdemeanor. The second is a misdemeanor. They responded to Perkins Restaurant.
Misdemeanor nasties. Gross.
Yeah. And this is going down at a Perkins of all places.
Oh, man.
Perkins is pretty good late night food, real good breakfast. I believe a lot of them are open 24 hours and across.
When's the last time you went to Perkins? When I was a kid, man, if my parents said, do you want to go to Perkins? Typically it was a Sunday non-football season. My brother and I would lose our minds. Like, it was Perkins the most exciting thing. And looking back, I don't know why, but we were super excited to go to Perkins.
They're always open. They always have breakfast. They cater to children as far as, chocolate chip pancakes.
And the whipped cream on top, smiley face.
They don't skip on anything. You want a good hamburger, you get a hamburger. They have spaghetti. They have chicken strips.
Well, if you want a burger, I don't know if you want a good hamburger, but if you're in the mood for a burger and you're there, you can get one.
You would be shocked how good the burgers are in those kind of places.
They don't appear to be around here.
No, they're in the Southeast mostly, and East Coast.
By the way, I just looked it up. Adulterate is to render something poorer in quality by adding another substance. So he adulterated her water with pee.
So deputies,
Miles is right. They're usually in smaller towns. Like there was none in the DC area where I grew up. So in Washington, there's one in Ellensburg, one in Spokane.
Okay, all right. There's
build your own breakfast there.
Yeah.
What's the one around here everybody goes to? Sherry's.
Sherry's is a good one. You can't go wrong with that.
But also where we grew up, there was just diners or Bob's Big Boy.
Did we stop at Perkins after? Oh man, was it the Tool Show?
We did not. No, we did not.
No.
We stopped at the local.
You weren't there.
No, it's the Tool Show. And we stayed at Cave B. We were in bad shape the next day. So I remember we stopped at a diner.
Oh, we went
and we kind of fell asleep in the waiting room.
We went up to Moses Lake.
Was it Perkins?
It was either a Sherry's or I think it was probably a Sherry's. Okay, I think we drove.
It was a chain diner. Yeah. I remember that.
I always stop at the family place. It's right on 90 there in Ellensburg. It's right when you get off 90. It just sits right there. Went in there with Castle a couple times. So they go to the Perkins restaurant. After a 42-year-old employee of the restaurant reported that she was being harassed by a baker. She told investigators that she noticed several occasions over the past few months when the water bottle she uses at work just doesn't taste right. She actually said it tasted like urine.
She actually said it tastes like pee.
She did. The incident started after the woman told Cruz Perez, her coworker, that she only wanted to be friends after he expressed a romantic interest in her. He initially denied tampering with the woman's water bottle when deputies first interviewed him about the allegations, but later admitted to once urinating in the container after investigators suggested they might do a DNA test in the bottle. Cruz Perez said he had to go to the bathroom when the incident occurred, but that the restaurant was too busy at the time to use the facilities. He added he forgot to throw away the water bottle after relieving himself in it. The woman told investigators that she noticed a taste of urine in the bottle about 10 times over the past several months.
Why did she keep drinking? If I think for a second I'm drinking pee, I'm done. I don't even say, hey, guys, taste this. Does this taste like pee?
So they asked the manager at Perkins about Cruz Perez. And he said, oh, yeah, that guy, he used to work at the restaurant, but was fired immediately following some allegations among coworkers.
Oh, like I was trying to put, him? Yeah, he used to work here. Sure.
He doesn't work anymore. That's taking it to a deep end.
Who do you put as a job reference? You're applying for another job. Oh, it says here you used to work at Perkins. Yeah. Why'd you leave there? Just things like, we call it your former manager. And now your former manager says, look, honest to God, good employee, hell of a baker. Moist cupcakes you'll ever eat in your life. The only thing we'd warn you about is that he may or may not pee in other employees' water bottles. Yep. But other than that one thing, Great employee.
Yep.
Always on time.
And now we go to the other side of the counter where the customer becomes the idiot. They say it's definitely annoying trying to eat a large Subway sub when it hasn't been cut in half, but one Florida man may have taken that annoyance a bit too far. Per an arrest report cited by Fox Business, the Martin County Sheriff's Office responded to a call January 9th at one of its fast food locations in Stewart in reference to a disturbance. According to the deputy who filed the report, customer Alberto D. Barros had become agitated with a female Subway worker after finding out his sandwich was not separated.
She didn't cut it in half?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Words were apparently exchanged, and DeBarros began causing a disruptive scene. And the employee then decided she wasn't going to assist him any longer. So DeBarros then hopped on his phone. But as he was talking, he was still melting down. He then hurled his sandwich at the worker, hitting her in the mid to lower body section. The deputy said DeBarros then left the restaurant, but not before the worker was able to spot his license plate number. So when the deputy tracked him down at his home, he admitted there'd been an argument, but he insisted he'd thrown the sandwich at the counter, not at the worker. The report notes the phone call he'd been making at the store was allegedly to the store's manager. What helped clinch DeBarros' arrest, however, was once the arresting deputy got to view the surveillance footage from the eatery, the deputy clearly saw DeBarros swipe the sandwich off the counter, which subsequently strikes the employee. He was arrested and charged with battery and released on $1,000 bond.
That's about right.
Yes.
I always wonder, right? So, like, I get really mad. I'm the customer. And I pull out my phone, and I say, I'm calling your manager. And I say, well, please don't do that. Like, I need one thing from you. What is their number? I'm just kidding. If I work in a franchise, I'm going to call your manager. Be like, okay, do you have their number? I just don't know. I don't even know where I'd start with that.
Yeah.
Well, call like corporate Subway. I'm at this location. Can they get the manager's number? Because they're going to tell you no. We're not going to give out their number to you. Well, that's such a BS call. I'm calling your manager. Okay.
And there's enough people that do it that it's very rare that you have to do it. But like, I had one at a hotel where my mother had booked a room, right? Because I was taking a red eye.
All right.
So I wasn't getting in till like 5 a.m, we'll say. So my mom had booked a room the night before. So when I went to check in, the woman says, you can't check in. We've already released your room. I said, well, I'm staying here
at
for
5 a.m.?
Right, for 2 nights. Like, what do you mean? She goes, well, you didn't check in. I was like, I was on a plane. And she's like, well, we got rid of the room. Or I said, did somebody take it? Well, no, I said, well, I've never heard of this rule. But this was like 4 or 5 years ago where there was basically, I didn't want to be the middle-aged white guy, like raising my voice or being like, I need to talk to your manager. Because that was like a whole thing. It was like, it just wasn't a good look to say I need to talk to the manager.
But the difference is, you're in a situation where legitimately, it's like, I'm not going to talk to your manager because I don't like you. I want to talk to your manager because this person is the only person that can legitimately sort this out.
Right. It was a massive deal. And you're right. I had to have her call the corporate. I was like, you got to call somebody. You know what I mean? I'm like, at this point, like, my mom's 75. It's 5 a.m. She's not awake. So, I mean, then she called her other boss. And they were like, well, there's nothing we can do or whatever. So I just finally, when I was leaving, I said, well, you're just screwing over a 75-year-old lady who just wasted $200 on a room. I guess I said, I guess I'll just walk to my mom's house 5 miles from here. And then the girl that was coming on shift ran out and was like, we're sorry, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, same thing.
You still didn't get a room, though? I mean,
I ended up getting the room, right.
You did get it.
Because the day that the woman that was starting the day shift was like, she's like, technically we released the room at 3 a.m. if nobody's checked in. But she's like, this is ridiculous. There's somebody in there. And it's only booked for, and I'm like, it's booked for me the next night.
Yes.
Like I was supposed to be there for 2 days. But you're right. I couldn't just say I'm going to call your manager. I had to be like, can you call your manager so I could talk to them?
Because legitimately, who knows the manager's number, right? Mm-hmm. When I worked in restaurants, you get the occasional, can I speak to your manager? I'm like, sure. One of my favorites, the person giving us grief was talking to the manager. Did not know they were talking to the manager. Say, can I speak to the manager? And we're waiting for this guy, Jamie, to say, I am the manager. But instead, he goes, hang on. And he walks in the back. Back there for like 5 minutes, opens the door, says, hang on, he'll be right out. Made this person wait about 15 minutes. He came walking back out, and he's like, I am the goddamn manager, blah, blah, blah. Then the guy's mad because he made him wait. He said, look, man, it all got resolved. But I'm like, that was a power move. Like, oh, you want to talk to the manager? Let me get him. Mm-hmm. And basically went out back, smoked a cigarette, chilled, scrolled through his phone, came back out like, yeah, the manager. It's not going to work for you.
Right.
Yeah, like, good on you, man. Yeah, that was a great move.
That is.
I was working at a small radio station in Hagerstown, Maryland, and it was in an old house, like an actual old house.
Yeah.
So when you walked into the front door basically of a house where the kitchen is still the kitchen. It's still a functioning kitchen in the house. The office for the general manager was right when you walked in, which would have been the living room.
Right.
Blah, 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 blah. There was a small desk beside it for the, quote, secretary. But either way, toilet paper started disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a memo that said cameras have been installed, and we are going to find out who is the perpetrator. And I still, to this day, held on to this letter we got because it was one of the most ridiculous things I'd ever read, ever. And they weren't sure what was happening on the weekends, but they were bound to find the culprit of this, and whoever was the person stealing the toilet paper, they were going to be terminated on the spot.
Of course.
Okay? Too much toilet paper is being used.
Too much.
It's a crazy amount.
No
of
one's asked.
What if you guys were just pooping a lot?
Okay, well, that was the answer to the question. All right. So the round mound of sound, Randy Mitchell, he had just gotten stomach.
That's what he calls it.
He just got stomach staple surgery, where they they shrunk it. But here's the thing: Randy took about 4 or 5 days off, but. You know, Randy was one of those guys who was always telling you how he was going to start working out. He was going to start eating better.
Right.
He was going to lose weight. He would house an entire bag of chips every day on the air minimum. He always had other snacks.
What flavor?
You name it. He would buy it. He would eat any bag. But a full bag, family-sized bag of chips. He'd just sit there.
I am my own family.
And he'd eat the whole thing. But Randy...
Hey.
I am family.
When you're in the studio, you're family.
Yeah. So Randy takes...
Most important thing, right, Mike?
Randy takes a week off work, and we're all wondering, he's on vacation. That's what you do. But Randy was, in fact, getting that surgery. So no one knew that Randy got his stomach stapled and all that business. But he just wanted to make it like, look, I'm losing weight, I'm doing it.
Sure.
But he didn't want anybody to know, what was going on behind the curtain, I guess. Is what I wouldn't think that was a big deal. But like, look, I'm having a hard time losing weight. I've got a diabetic problem. This surgery hopefully will work, and, I will lose some weight. But Randy did not want you to know that. He wanted, it's like the guy who's
People talk about it now, but it used to be kind of one of those things people didn't really talk about.
Right.
They just did it.
And this is the mid-'90s, and this is like admitting you're on steroids.
Sure.
Kind of a thing. Like, that's the cheating way to do it. But I don't think anyone would have thought that way. That's Randy's mindset at the time. He gets this done, but he's going to the bathroom nonstop. I mean, he is going to the bathroom nonstop to the point where even when I was, in there I did the afternoon, he did the midday, he would come to get me at my desk and say, listen, I need you to make sure that these songs segue and these commercials play because I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it out of the bathroom or not. It's like, man. So like after like 2 or 3 days of this, I'm like, you need to go take some sick days, man. Like you're not, something's wrong, man. You need to go to a doctor. He's like, no. My doctor knows I'm all right. Apparently this is perfectly normal, blah, 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 blah. And so I talked to the boss and I said, hey man, I said, I know you don't pay attention to this because you're not really near the bathroom or near where this area is, but my desk is. The smell that's coming out of there is abominable. Could you please just go tell Kibby, the boss,
right,
that we have an office worker that is dealing with a severe stomach situation, and that no one is stealing the toilet paper. Randy is just rifling through it at a speed. He was in that bathroom at least 3 times an hour. I don't know what happens after that surgery.
I don't know.
Back in the early days of this stuff. But I just know for a fact, like, he could not keep anything in his stomach for any amount of time. And anytime he ate anything, he crapped it right up.
Well, and I think, didn't we all work with somebody? And I mean, we all like that guy, but I thought he had it and just kind of ate through it and it like unstapled.
Who was it? Ken?
I think so.
Okay. I think that,
You can do
I think
that.
that's what we've heard,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, pretty
Because they
strict.
say, like, look, we can do this for you, but there's some dietary things you need to do to make this hold. And he was like, F that. I'm going to keep eating what I ate. And it was complications.
We will prosecute whoever was stealing. I mean, he was like, we're going to the police. We're putting cameras in.
For toilet paper.
And they thought that the toilet paper was being stolen out of the supply closet. Not necessarily the bathroom. They just assumed, like we just had to keep putting it back in there. What's the craziest or most scandalous thing that has happened at your workplace? 206-803-ROCK.
Love the flexibility of working in all sorts of places? Well, working on the go seamlessly requires a strong network like T-Mobile. We have America's largest 5G network, so whether you're on a video call at the park or uploading large files at the coffee shop, we have the 5G speed you need. Whatever takes you on the go, T-Mobile's got you covered. Find out more at T-Mobile.com/network today.
Coverage not available in some areas. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
For the past 20 years, you've enjoyed the refreshing tropical lime flavor of Mountain Dew Baja Blast. So in celebration of this milestone, we're bringing Baja Blast in stores nationwide. And for a limited time, with every purchase of Baja Blast, you can collect coins for a chance to get Baja gear or a Taco Bell deal. 2024 is the year of Baja Blast. In stores now. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents 18 plus. Subject to official rules at BajaBlast.com and 6/15/24. Void where prohibited.
With LinkedIn Jobs, we tap into a network of more than 1 billion professionals to help you find quality professionals quickly and easily for any role you need. Marketing wizards? Found them.
Software engineers?
Found. That project manager I could never seem to hire? And found. LinkedIn Jobs quickly matches your roles with candidates with the right skills and experience. In fact, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Post your first job for free and get started at linkedin.com/decide. That's linkedin.com/decide. Terms and conditions apply.
KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
What is the craziest or the most scandalous thing that has happened at your workplace? 206-803-ROCK.
I've got a couple of texts here. First two deal with sex. 4 different people have been fired for having sex where I work. I may need to work there. Someone else says I work in a warehouse. Our former operations manager got fired because she was caught having sex with a coworker in one of the trailers. Let's see. I worked at a pizza joint years ago, and the place I worked at had really bad security. All the managers shared the same alarm code, and there were never any tapes for the cameras. They were just for show. Well, one of the managers managed to steal a week's worth of cash deposits and got away with it. They couldn't prove who did it. That MFer got away with $10,000 and kept his or her job, and nobody knows who did it. Wow. But you have to have your suspicions. And where was the one I saw? They kept it pretty quiet. But while working at a local healthcare facility, a nurse was let go for stealing the patient's pain meds prior to procedures. They used a syringe to take about half the meds and then replace it with saline. Needless to say, control over controlled substances got a lot tighter after that.
I bet, yeah.
I can't believe that doesn't happen more, man. Mm-hmm. I would think. And then one last one, where'd it go? A delivery driver here had a coworker hit a few parked cars in the parking lot, and instead of reporting it, he got out of the truck, found a rock, smashed himself in the head a few times, then claimed that someone threw a rock at him and made him crash into those cars. Best thing is, it was all on camera.
Oh, sweet.
That is a good move. And then another guy lost his job. He delivered a pizza, but he disappeared inside of the house for an hour, found out that the customer had propositioned him, so he had sex with her. Then found out that she'd recorded it and put it on the internet.
No way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Then we have this story. British Airways crew members allegedly indulged in a wonderful night of drinking and drugs in Rio de Janeiro, then covered it up by pretending they'd been the victims of various crimes. Brazilian authorities say the 3 airline employees are accused of inventing an armed robbery that supposedly took place on September 5th, leaving them too traumatized to work. Now, the scheduled flight to London the next day was delayed, stranding passengers in Rio for 24 hours. However, they note that according to the airline, the crew members were not scheduled to work the day after the faked armed robbery. So it's not clear why the flight to London was in fact delayed. So police allege the trio made up the story to avoid getting in trouble with their supervisors. After field investigation and intelligence work, data crossing, and image analysis, the Special Tourism Support Group found the flight attendants lied. And in a statement, they said, of the various crimes reported by the trio, only one occurred, a cell phone being stolen after a late night in which they consumed cocaine, a lot of alcohol, and went to an abandoned gas station close to a community in Rio where they continued their drug use at an abandoned gas station. The trio are being investigated for falsely reporting a crime.
Yeah, that's why I said, man, if you're going to try to call out from work, just say you're sick. Because like I said, we know it's 50-50 whether you're telling the truth, but we're not going to investigate it. But when you come up with something elaborate, especially like, we were robbed, well, British Airways is a major company. They're going to report that to the authorities. Right? Hey, man, right. you need to protect our people when they're there. And then the Brazilian authorities are going to do their job and go like, you're liars.
And why is it always Brazil? Didn't Lockie, the swimmer, didn't he have something?
I think it was Brazil, wasn't it?
When the Olympics were down there and something, I don't know, they missed curfew or something, said they got robbed, but
is that what he came up with?
Somebody tried to, but
I remember there was something with him. And same thing. They're in Rio, for God's sakes, man. You know, it's the New Orleans of Brazil. They're partying.
Yep.
You know they're partying.
Right.
I mean, a lot of, like I said, if you call out on a Friday or a Monday, I'm always like, it doesn't mean you're not sick, but Friday says you plan on having a good time. Monday tells me you had a great weekend.
Right. Yeah.
I just can't make it in, man. Let's just say you're sick.
I mean, look, even if you're actually sick on a Monday or a Friday, you still feel like you're doing something bad.
Because, right, it's a Monday or Friday and you're calling out. Yeah, that's right. So just say you're sick. We know you might be lying, but we don't. Don't make us investigate it.
Right, yeah. A guy I worked with, one of his best friends, his best friend did middays and he did afternoons at a radio station. So I don't know how this went down, but it went down on a weekend where I guess Dave was supposed to be away. Either way, Dave, he had a girlfriend who had 3 kids from a previous marriage.
All right.
So he'd been taking care of them for like 4 or 5 years or whatever, but the kids were with their dad this weekend or whatever. So, and her boyfriend is out of town. So she invites his best friend Jim over for a little weekend fun, who also worked with Dave. Well, Dave apparently came home for whatever reason. I don't remember what the deal was. So he pulled in the driveway, I guess. Jim hid in the closet. Because I don't know if they were in there for a day and a half. I don't know how long they've been in there, but they've been in his place for a while. So Dave comes home, and he can tell that his girlfriend is acting a little bit odd, whatever the deal is. So, he hears something and realizes that Jim, he is in the closet and he's naked. Now, Jim is a big guy.
He's naked.
This is and they're all Grateful Dead. They're all fans of the Grateful Dead.
All right.
So they all would go to shows, travel, do all those things. I think that might have been where Dave was to go see like a Dead tribute band or some crap or whatever the deal was. Anyway, and I think he just left early. Like it was supposed to be a weekend festival, and I don't know what the hell happened. It just fell apart. Anyway, so Dave then beats the hell out of Jim. These guys are both huge guys, by the way.
Yeah.
They're like 230 pounds easy, 240. And they're tall. They're big dudes. And apparently, Dave beat up Jim while Jim was naked in his home, and then threw him out naked.
Right.
And kicked him out. Now, keep in mind, they're going to go to work on Monday. They follow each other on their shift. Okay. So
were you there for that?
The
shift following.
I was not at this radio station at that time.
Okay.
So Dave said, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I cannot work here. I cannot be around this. I cannot be in this environment because I believe that his girlfriend and Jim never really said, we're not going to do this anymore.
Right. This is still going to happen.
Yeah. So Dave's like, the hell with this. I'm getting another job. So he goes across the street and starts working at the rock station.
All right.
Now that's where but the station before, that was a station that I grew up working on.
Okay.
So I knew all these guys. And then I went over just like Dave did. But I didn't go over there because he couldn't work because one of his coworkers was having sex with his girlfriend. Either way, Dave and his girlfriend patch everything up. And this is when I come into the equation. This is when I start working at this rock station. I am, and Dave and Jim are not friends anymore,
obviously.
Yeah. So Chris, the production director, he's the one that's kind of giving me my job requirements as far as what to do as far as making commercials and all these things and, whatever. And in the middle of this, Chris is like, oh, man, hold on. Because I paged him to take a phone call. So he goes back in his office. This is the days of, your phone. Right. You have a phone on your desk. He goes and closes the door, talks for a little while, whatever. And I'm like, all right, this is, he's in there for real, whatever. Whatever he's done, he's done. Later on that afternoon, Chris confides in me that he is, in fact, having sex with a woman, with a guy who works at the radio station. And I'm like,
wait a minute, is this the same guy that did it to the Dave guy?
No, this is a different guy at a different
This is now Chris.
This is now
at
Chris.
A new radio station.
But the same guy with the same girlfriend the girlfriend is continuing to cheat on Dave.
So it's still Dave's girlfriend.
So they got back together.
So Dave's still involved.
They worked things out. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, he goes to a different job to get away from Jim, who'd been sleeping with his girlfriend. Now, when they move into this new environment, the production director at that radio station takes over that role and starts having sex with Dave's girlfriend as well.
Was she that hot?
I never met her.
I would say, did you ever have sex with her?
I never met her.
Honestly, when you said you started working there, the sick part in me was like, oh, tell me Miles started banging Dave's wife.
No, Jesus, they had their own, whatever their deal was, but it was just, I was not part of the first situation because I was not working there at that time, but I was a part of the second situation that happened, and that was even weirder. I'm like, my God, Dave.
Did Dave find out that Chris,
yes.
okay.
I'm like, Dave, your girlfriend's a slut.
And then,
or she doesn't want to sleep with you. You've got to figure out a way.
Well, no, she just wants to sleep with everyone. You're just one of them.
But he left a job because he did, and it was a good job. He left a good job.
So what did Dave end up doing after he's at the rock station to find out?
There's no other radio station in town where he can work. So he's kind of like stuck. You know, he's just...
Who was the Chris guy? He was the boss?
He was the production director. But he also...
if I was Dave, I would have tried to push that dude out.
Well... The thing about Chris was he was like one of those kind of he was like a kung fu dude. So like he had like the kung fu type mustache.
Really?
He went.
Oh my God.
He was always doing like events.
Sure.
Like he was a teacher. I don't know that you wanted to mess with this guy.
Right.
He wasn't the biggest guy in the world, but he was he could take care of himself. So he wasn't as big as Dave, but either way, it was the most messed up thing.
It's amazing because working in restaurants for so long, like sex was never a scandal. Because you just assumed who was sleeping with who. And I'm assuming it's roughly the same thing now where, I don't know, like the wait staff definitely gets along and they hang out together and they do a lot of work. And it's like half the waiters are having sex with half the waitresses, right? Mm-hmm. And vice versa. And like everyone knew and nobody cared, right? Like so in my early years of working, a sex scandal just didn't exist. I was never part of it. Sucked for me. But you knew like this guy was sleeping with this chick. And that would go on for like 3 weeks. And then he's sleeping with another one of your coworkers, but so is she. And there was never bad blood.
No.
You know what I mean?
They
weren't dating, right?
Right, I was going to say, I think that's the main thing in restaurants are so incestuous. Like,
yeah, and you've worked with them at 18 other restaurants. So the thing is, even like one guy, super hot waitress, gets hired at a place we're already working, but one of the cooks is like, oh, man. We're like, oh, would you work with her before? And he said, we're this place and this place. Well, she's a great waitress. We're like, what's the problem? He's like, man, I banged her at the 2 last places that we worked together. We're like, well, good for you. And he goes, no, the problem is now I have a serious girlfriend. We're like, well, then don't have sex with her. He's like, I have to, man. Because I know she was smoking. They ended up having sex, doing their freaking thing together. And I'm just like, my God, man. But like when you hire someone that's like, I'm going to have sex with them. And they do. Within like 2 days.
Damn.
You know, they come rolling in together. You're like, my God.
I mean, that's... Yeah.
But then, like, you know, when I got into radio, you know, like, unless you were married, that was not good.
No.
Right? Because we worked with a few married couples. Nobody cared. Didn't say a thing. Then there were other people. It's like, I think so-and-so sleeping with so-and-so. Mostly in sales, right? I'm like, yeah, I don't care. But apparently, this was an issue. And, like, they would get taken in HR. We can't confirm that you're having sex. And my thought was always like, why do you care? It's not you just couldn't do it.
It really only matters if you're the boss.
Right, and none of these were that.
Right,
none of these were those situations.
Like when we were in Baltimore, I dealt with a girl in sales. Like, no big deal. No big deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if I was her immediate boss, then that's when
that's a problem.
That's when people go, okay, that's a little conflict of interest.
I will tell you the weirdest thing I heard in radio. It wasn't exactly scandalous. It's not even a big deal. It was just very strange to us. There's a guy whose name I will not say because he might be on the Seattle airwaves now, and he was one of the guys who worked with his wife on the air. And they were both very nice people. And one day, we're just talking casually and say, hey, man, how did you meet your wife anyway? And he's like, oh, I used to babysit her. Now, take it however you want. That has bothered me from the day that he said that. But he's the most Oakley-dokley Ned Flanders kind of guy you're ever going to meet. And I'm like, this mother effer's creepy. Like, I'm sorry, man.
I mean, you could be 15 years old and babysit a 10-year-old 9-year-old kid,
understand
and then as you get older
that.
in life, you know, that
Can you
age
come
gap.
up with a different explanation?
Right. Yeah.
Look,
It's not the same.
it's all how you say it. Like, oh, we grew up together, or ooh, we've known each other since childhood and reconnected. I go, cool. When you say I used to, that's how you answer that question.
And I'm a thrill. That bugs me
Because it's
right, your baby's like if you have a babysitter that's 20 in their early 20s, and you go, she was babysitting my kid. I go, all right, a little different, a little pornish, but
yeah.
But right when he said I was her babysitter, I'm like, ugh. It just gives me weird. Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like I'd have a different answer. Even if
but
that
Miles
were true.
is right too.
I know.
The age different, but I'm
I
with
know.
They're still young.
I
know.
Were they? What is their age difference?
And I wanted to
know.
ask, but I'm like, am I out of line to say how old was she and how old were you when you were babysitting her? Like you said,
No, I don't.
I don't know.
But that's the other tough thing with sex sometimes.
What's that?
Like, you just don't know, right? Like, and I think women talk a little more in depth. But for the most part, like if somebody in here is like, I got laid last night, like, good for you, right?
Yeah,
we're not gonna go through the playbook. We don't need to see the formations and everything. But every once in a while, I had a buddy. He was kind of a fringe friend, And one day we were just sitting there talking, and he went on for half an hour about sucking toes and this and that with
God, man.
Yeah, and I don't know. I was like, I don't want to hang out with this guy anymore. And like, good credit to him.
because you don't like toes.
Yeah, that was his thing. But it's weird when you find out. So like that. Again, Miles is probably right. That dude, hopefully they were close.
We're holding out hope that Miles is right. I don't know that probably is even a thing. Maybe he's right. And it just, like you said, and guys don't generally go into deep details, so maybe that's why it just kind of blindsides us when somebody says that. Right. Hey, dude, why are you telling me all of this? All I said was, how was your night last night? You said you got laid. I chalked that up to good. There's no further questions. I have nothing else. Why are you still telling me about this? I don't want to know.
Yeah, even at the Bunny Ranch, right? Like when I went there for my 30th birthday, right? I'm there for 3 nights. But like a lot of the girls liked me, and I was finally last thing like, what do you guys like me? And they're like, you just want to drink with us and then have sex. I was like, yeah. I was like, what else is going on? She's like, man, a lot of guys just want this or that, or they want us to play with this or play with that. I was like, I don't want to know.
You don't want to know?
I don't want to know.
See the guy sitting in the pool over there? Yeah, you never guess what he likes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Too kinky?
I don't know. I just don't want to know.
Oh, yeah, no, okay.
It's like when you watch porn, so I don't need close-ups of stuff.
Right.
I want to see her.
95% of the people watching want to see her.
Yeah.
I appreciate that his testicles can swing that much, but you don't need to focus on that for as long as you're focused. Because it does kind of ruin that moment. Like, no, this is not what I want to see. Swinging back and forth.
A few posts from Reddit on the most scandalous.
I'm good. I didn't need to see it, but respect.
Yeah, for sure.
Or crazy thing that's happened at work. A manager at a landscaping company was sleeping with the owner's wife. Talked dirty to her with his speakerphone on. Unfortunately, his two-way radio was keyed, so everyone at the company heard the conversation.
See, that I would like to hear. Right? Because you're not giving me details about what you did. This is real time. You think that no one else can hear you. What's your dirty talk? What are you saying? What is this guy about? I want to do that thing again where you put.
I'm sure someone's been busted butt dialing. In the middle of
guarantee. Having sex.
With somebody else.
Dude, I did it at the national championship game. What? Like my buddy's son, who's in his 20s, he like texted me. He's like, "You just FaceTime me for like 3 minutes." And I'm like, "Jesus, my bad." I didn't even know.
A movie theater manager got busted for undercharging people who paid cash. She would charge them the children's rate and then pocket the rest of the money. Turned out she'd been doing it for years and stole tens of thousands of dollars from the movie theater.
Never did anything like that, but I was working as a host at Pizzeria Uno, and people would order the frozen pizza. But we had those directly behind the desk where we're standing, so we had the freezer. So I would just ring, and typically they'd be the equivalent of a small pizza, right? So I would just ring in a small pizza. The cooks would make a small pizza, which I would eat, and you just hand them, it was the same price. Right? So I just open the freezer, hand them the frozen pizza, take the money, run their credit card, whatever. But then inevitably a pizza would come out of the kitchen, and we'd just sit back there and meal. One of the cooks figured it out. He was a little irritated.
We did it. At the one bar I worked at, we sold beer too. So if it was a busy Friday or Saturday night, we would charge her. Let's say that it was $15. But Miles, I know you. So when you come in, I'll go $10. And then we would just keep cash.
Yeah, I mean, that is the way to do it. Hell, when I was a Boy Scout, man, they made us sell, granted, I was not a Boy Scout long, got booted. But in the little bit of time I was there, we had to do door-to-door light bulb sales. I mean, and even like a 12-year-old kid, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. You want me to knock on someone's door? Hey, do you need light bulbs? But that's what they had us do. The idea was they were $2 a piece. I charged $3 a piece. Because like, if I got to do this, my parents find out, they were pissed. Right. I'm like, dude, it's $1 extra. I
knew I knew a waitress, and her scam was that people did pay in cash a lot. Mm-hmm. And families would go in there, and at least anytime there was anything other than alcohol, all right?
Okay.
That was typically a fountain soda. So you have a big-ass fountain soda for like $2.50, whatever the deal is. You know, like a big one in a red cup. Sandwich, wings, pizza place. So when people paid in cash, she would wait to the end of the transaction to find out how they were going to, card or chart, how do you guys want to pay? Then she would bring the bill. So she'd always ask first, then she would bring the bill. If you were paying in cash, she would not ring up the drinks.
4 of the things that you ordered, right?
4 of the drinks.
on
there because there was no way of monetizing or figuring out when you go up to a soda machine, you know, you're just...
And also, they let the employees drink the soda, so there's no way to really...
It's the employee's job to ring that in, but that has been charged.
I knew a lot of people... God, I knew a lot of people
But it could be $100 a night just because it's a family restaurant, just based on sodas before you even got a tip.
But here's the thing. You get a better tip when you say, hey, I didn't charge you for your drinks. Like someone that's non-alcoholic. They give you a bigger tip. Thank you.
She would do this every time.
Of course.
Every single time.
Yeah, I know a few people that would do that, right? If it wasn't alcohol and you ordered sodas or whatever, no charge if it's cash.
What is the craziest or more the most scandalous thing that has happened at your workplace? 206-803-ROCK.
With LinkedIn Jobs, we tap into a network of more than 1 billion professionals to help you find quality professionals quickly and easily for any role you need. Marketing wizards? Found them.
Software engineers?
Found. That project manager I could never seem to hire? And found. LinkedIn Jobs quickly matches your roles with candidates with the right skills and experience. In fact, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Post your first job for free and get started at linkedin.com/decide. That's linkedin.com/decide. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Celebrate and save at Ashley's Anniversary Sale. With Hot Buys, your choice of colors starting at just $3.99. Ashley Sleep mattresses starting at $2.50. Plus, receive a free adjustable base with select mattress purchases. And shop top mattress brands like Stearns & Foster, Tempur-Pedic, Purple, and Beautyrest Black with 60-month special financing. Only at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. No minimum purchase required. Minimum monthly payment, down payment, tax, and delivery may be required. See store for details.
Oh, should we start this show?
Yeah, I'm down. Just buying a car on Carvana first.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, it's super convenient. I already got pre-qualified in 2 minutes. All I had to do is answer a few questions.
Ooh, that's helpful.
And now just customizing my down and monthly payments.
Ooh, that's a very fair deal.
Yep. Boom. Just bought a car. And you get to take me to the Carvana vending machine in a couple days to pick it up.
Ooh. I'm kind of busy.
Visit Carvana.com to finance your next car.
Financing subject to credit approval.
Love the flexibility of working in all sorts of places? Well, working on the go seamlessly requires a strong network like T-Mobile. We have America's largest 5G network, so whether you're on a video call at the park or uploading large files at the coffee shop, we have the 5G speed you need. Whatever takes you on the go, T-Mobile's got you covered. Find out more at T-Mobile.com/network today.
Coverage not available in some areas. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith from The Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Our question, what is the craziest or the most scandalous thing that's happened at your workplace? 206-803-ROCK. Here's a weird one. All right. Russian guy is vacationing in Thailand, and he was caught on camera shaving a local barber's head in revenge for a dissatisfactory haircut that he had received.
Damn.
The footage that has been doing the rounds online for over a week shows a Caucasian man getting a haircut at the Salute Barbershop in Pattaya. Now, according to eyewitnesses, he walked into the venue and explained to one of the barbers there how he wanted his haircut using hand gestures because he allegedly did not speak very good English. So, at one point, the man, who was later identified as a Russian tourist, looked into the mirror and flew into a fit of rage over his botched haircut. He started slamming his fists on the table and swearing at the barber before picking up the shears and shaving part of his fringe as revenge. "You crazy mother effer," the unnamed man could be heard shouting in the video. "I showed you. What the F Where are my bangs? What the F? Following the angry tirade, the Russian man grabs a pair of clippers and shaves part of the Thai barber's fringe before quickly storming out of the barbershop without paying for his haircut. The whole scene left both the staff and the other clients speechless. After he slammed the table, he grabbed my head, pulled it down, then trimmed my hair with his clippers. According to the 32-year-old barber, I did not retaliate, but I felt angry. I thought about several potential consequences. If I fought back, I was afraid of facing legal repercussions or losing my job, so I just chose to do nothing. He was forced to then have to shave his whole head, as the deep hole was impossible to hide. He also filed a complaint with the local police. They are hoping to receive an apology from the Russian man. That is going to be tough to get, considering the man has already left the country of Thailand.
You're not getting that apology. Wow. That is, I mean, if I had to be stuck in a barbershop, not that you hope that happens, but you kind of hope that happens. So you ain't going to believe this, man. Got in a headlock and shaved the barber's head.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. I'm with you. That would have been crazy to see.
I mean, I've seen a lot of people retaliate, as customers, but that's next level.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever worked in a place where people were actually stealing cash? They had figured out a way to finagle cash or money.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Did they get caught?
They did, and it's weird because some of the people you work, and again, this goes back to restaurants, depending who's running the register, who's on the wait staff. As cooks, we couldn't do it, so we stole food and toilet paper instead. But, when they deal with cash, everyone figured out a different way. And some people, it was more of a loophole in the system. It's not exactly illegal. But put it this way, if you're in a casino, they'd ask you not to come back. You didn't break any laws, but you can't come to this casino kind of thing. But other people would straight up steal cash. And to be honest with you, just the way the industry works, if you knew that they were, nobody cared. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They'd run their system and you kind of watch what they do, and we'd kind of chuckle. If they did not tell anyone and got caught for whatever reason, as stupid as this is, that's when everyone got mad at them. Because I had a couple people like, yeah, I run the scam, and this is what I do, like you said with the sodas. All right, I'm not going to charge them for the soda. They're paying the cash. I keep the money. You're like, good for you. Who cares? But they tell you that. Well, if they don't tell you that and then they get busted, I can't explain it for some reason. Like, you dirty, low down. Yep. You can at least trust us. We're all up to no good.
I didn't experience it firsthand, but working down at the auctions, it's a wholesale car auction. So it's either rentals that have been turned back in, or it is car dealers getting rid of the inventory that they can't sell to somebody who might actually have a better time selling it. So there's not a whole lot of personal cars that are out on these lots, right? And so there's just, this lot is full of thousands of cars that are out there, and none of them are locked. Unless they're like a luxury car, none of them are locked. And so it's not out of the realm of possibility for somebody, maybe you found something in a car that especially working in the detail shop, when they goes through there, we're going to throw everything that's not bolted down away and out of the car. So I collected plenty of good stuff out of there. However, there were plenty of stories of some folks that got thrown out of the auction because during sale day or whenever, they would just walk out of there among the lot, pop open a car that maybe they'd had a knob that's in the console that they needed, and they'd pop that thing off of there, or they would pop this tire out of there, or they would
get the parts they need.
Like, there was one guy that got stopped by security because somebody flagged him down, was like, this guy is clearly stealing stuff out of there, and he went full trench coat. It is full pockets of all sorts of stuff that he picked thousands of stuff out of all these cars, and he's bent over the car. I want to witness. Somebody's like, stop stealing that, man.
Right, just stop taking it, man.
Also, I was going to say, a lot of bars and restaurants, especially bars, are just smart enough that they'll tell the staff, like, look, you got this amount to give away.
Right. They do, yeah.
Yep, because a guy, I remember working a door in Georgetown, same thing. Some of those bartenders, and this was a super popular bar in the nicest, probably the nicest section of D.C.
Yeah, for sure.
So some of those dudes only worked one night a week, and they held on to that for years. But one guy was taking so much, the manager was like, all right, the tips are getting way too light. Right, because we started kind of bitching too. We would get like $50, $60 a night. Now we're getting $25.
Right.
And I gotta hump all that beer up to your bar because you're kind of like a pseudo bar back. So, man, you gotta tip me out.
Yeah, come on, man.
A Jacksonville Jaguar employee was fired in February earlier last week after more details are emerging as to why. Citing documents filed by prosecutors in the U.S. District Court in Jacksonville, the AP reports the former financial manager of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Amit Patel, has been hit with charges of wire fraud and illegal monetary transactions, accused of lifting more than $22 million from the team over a 4-year stretch. Now, according to the 7-page court filing, Patel used the franchise's virtual credit card program between 2019 and 2023 to rack up purchases of various big-ticket items, including a Tesla and a Nissan pickup truck, a condo worth $265 in Ponte Verde Beach.
$265,000, I'm hoping?
Yes, in Ponte Vedra Beach. Well, a country club membership, as well as spa treatments, sports memorabilia, concert tickets. Patel is also accused of chartering private jets for himself and his friends. The monetary transaction charge is tied to a $95,000 watch that he purchased online last fall. The Athletic first reported the charges against Patel, noting it's not clear what he allegedly bet on online gambling sites. And when asked if the team wished to comment on that allegation, a Jaguar spokesman declined. Now, in his role of overseeing the NFL team's departmental budgets, financial statements, and virtual credit card programs, he'd been working for the Jaguars since 2018, and he was able to duplicate, inflate, and even fabricate catering, hotel, and airfare expenses, among others, according to the court filings. The individual was a former manager of financial planning and analysis who took advantage of his trusted position to covertly and intentionally commit significant fraudulent financial activity at the team's expense for personal benefit. They tried to get the money back from one of the gambling sites and were unable to do so.
I mean, what's the gambling site going to do? People give us money all the time. We don't know what to tell you, man. This guy spent his money. We don't know if he stole it or not. We don't care.
They just want to get their money back, but it was like DraftKings or one of those that they...
Right, but I mean, that's...
FanDuel or whatever the hell it was.
That's a tough one, man. You know what I mean? If I own a store and they're like, hey, man, this guy stole money, but he bought all these products from your store, I'd be like, okay. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I feel bad for you, but you're not getting your money back. Here's a text which makes me think of something. It says, a former job I had, there was a massive cheating scandal going on between two entire couples. Each husband was banging the other's wife. Well, long story short, it culminated into a massive brawl with all four in a bowling alley that we worked in. People yelling, cussing, swinging at anyone. To my knowledge, none of the four have ever spoken again. I mean, beyond the divorce paperwork. I have been, and I've told this before, so I won't go through the whole thing, but one of the restaurants I worked in, there were three dudes that were just being very difficult at the bar. And so one of the bar backs came up, walked into the kitchen, and said, hey, man, can you just show some meat up there? These guys are getting a little out of hand. So we kind of stayed toward the back. They are asked to leave. Can we finish our beers first? That was a bit of a negotiation, but and yes, you can finish your beers. As they're finishing their beers, knowing that they're being asked to leave, they're just getting a little more belligerent. They're not quite drunk, but they're getting more belligerent. Everything kind of comes to a head. So finally, it's like, now we're demanding that you leave. So the three guys get up, and one of the guys is a monster. And I will always remember this. We're kind of escorting them out, as it were. And then big dude, he keeps jawing, so he's walking kind of slow. So we're kind of pushing him toward the door. And this guy turns around, and keep in mind, there's three of us. And he puts his hands on two of our chests and just says, quit pushing me. And he pushes us back, like 15 feet. And it's like, oh, no, right? Like, this guy is huge. And now it's just on. And I mean, everyone in this bar, it had to be 25 to 30 people, just like at the drop of a pen. There's a massive bar brawl. People are just throwing, like, people that know each other and are friends, they're swinging on each other. It was like delirium. It was absolutely insane. And all we're trying to do, especially, is get Big Boy out of the door. And I remember one of his buddies threw a swing, punched the owner in the face of the restaurant. To point out, it was a woman. Just dropped, which pissed us off. So we're kind of stomping this guy. Big guy's taking out everybody. So my buddy Carlos, who works in the kitchen with me, he weighed maybe $145. Real nice, calm guy all the time. Well, I mean, like, the smokes or the dust is starting to settle, and it kind of comes down to giant man who said stop pushing me and skinny ass Carlos. And Carlos doesn't seem like he's sweating this at all. And we're all thinking this is the end of Carlos. And this guy swings at Carlos, and Carlos gets out of the way. And then Carlos punches this guy in the temple. I mean, just as fast as you've ever seen someone throw a punch. Big dude's knees start wobbling. Keep in mind, there's carnage everywhere. I mean, there's broken glasses, tables are flipped over, all this stuff. But everyone watches Big Boy, like, just drop in slow motion to the ground, out cold. We're like, what the hell? Carlos is like, oh, I'm an amateur boxer. We're like, nobody knew that, man. Nobody knew that. So the cops show up. We get it all sorted out. We finally get back into the kitchen. And, I mean, it's just, like I said, it is insane. It was like a movie. I've just never been a part of something like that. So we get back in the kitchen, and Carlos is like, man, could have ended this quicker if I grabbed my gun. Well, you have your gun here. It's like, yeah. Well, like, start with that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you pull it out, this will come to an end and they will leave. Instead, like, my face hurts. I got punched by probably 20 different people. Couldn't even tell you who hit me. It's just, it was just fist and bottles and everything. Bar stools. The whole place went crazy. What's stupid is we finally get these 3 guys out, including Big Boy. The cops deal with them. They weren't arrested, but the cops kind of get them away. When you walk back into the bar, it's the Brewers Art. So you've been there before in Baltimore, right? So you had to walk. It was kind of in the basement of a building. You walk back down the stairs. Everyone who had just been in a bar fight. Keep in mind, like Ted, that's like you and me were throwing punches at each other. Mike, you smashed Miles in the face with a bottle. Well, they're all back in there, dead calm, just resetting the bar. Sat down like nothing happened. And I'm like, what in the hell was this? What was this? You guys were fighting, and everyone just had the same thing. Caught in the moment. It's caught in the moment, man. Everyone started
caught up.
Everybody started swinging. Like, I know I hit my buddy. I didn't mean to, but after he hit me back, we found someone else to hit, and it was dead calm after that. Like,
that's a place where we had a Christmas party one year.
The Brewers Art?
I believe so. Or that was at the Visionary Art Museum?
Is this the chair of the Brewers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Visionary Art Museum.
All right, different place. But either way, so Christmas party, it's all this cool stuff. I've told the story before. There's a chair that's completely made out of toothpicks. Mm-hmm. So there's an artist, and he does all kinds of toothpick art.
It sounds stupid. If you saw his stuff, your mind would be blown.
You can't believe it. There was a Titanic in there, a replica of the Titanic.
Inside and out.
It was
down through the furniture.
All made of toothpicks. There were 4 or 5 other things that were just unbelievable, where you could not even tell that this is how this was created, right? One of these things was a lazy boy-sized chair. Now, it is up on a podium. It is being displayed. People are getting pretty drunk at this party. You're walking around. They're serving you tray food for the most part.
Of course.
There's a bar, but one of
the irony is, I did not know you then, and there's a very good chance that I was up there making the food that you guys were eating downstairs.
Yeah. One of the women who is notorious for being very bubbly personality-wise does like to imbibe quite a bit. She was kind of swirling around and decided that once she got her plate of food that she was going to sit down. And when she sat down in that chair, the entire thing went into a million different pieces.
Called toothpicks.
And evaporated on the floor. I mean, it was gone. She was gone. She flipped over. Legs go over. The whole thing. The food flies. And now you're just looking at this, and the room just stops. This is our Christmas party.
This is a museum.
We're in this thing about an hour and a half. This is a very nice place. It's very, very classy. Casey's on the floor. They finally get her up. You know,
Didn't you say she was of larger carriage?
She was. Yes, she was. She was one of those bubbly people who always had the rosy cheeks.
Right.
Always smiling. Kind of like the lady at the counter at Trains, Planes, and Automobiles before Steve Martin berates the woman. And she kind of had that whole look about her. Very pleasant. Like if you went to her house, she'd make you a casserole. Either way. The whole thing shatters. Now, we don't see Casey for a couple days. This was like on the weekend.
Did you laugh in the moment?
Oh, my God.
I mean, that had to be hysterical.
Oh, my God.
I mean, you're talking you just damaged thousands of dollars on the display.
Not thousands. That's what we found out.
Oh, really?
So after the fact, because I knew the general manager, I was like, look, he's like, the insurance is trying to cover this. They are trying to cover this. We're trying to figure out a way to use our insurance to cover it. But just so you know, that chair was well over $50,000. So we're just trying to figure out a way. And I mean, it was gone. I mean, it was gone.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they're toothpicks.
It was one of the most spectacular things I've ever seen at a work event in my life, man. It was just, and the damage was, and it stopped the party for the most part because everybody who was working there now is kind of responsible for picking this mess up.
I mean, what do you do, right? Because there's no
cleaning crew or anything. It's just, so now everybody's just picking up toothpicks. And they're trying to figure out, do we save the toothpicks for the artists? So they weren't exactly sure what to do with them.
I don't know.
It was just a weird, freaking bizarre night.
And the guy made all these in prison. Because all the other inmates would hand him their toothpicks or their old wooden matchsticks, and this guy basically would soften them by sucking on them in his mouth and craft these incredible things. And sheer big ass broke it.
Yep.
That place, man, and I've said this before, this is really bad. This was not anyone's intention. But it ended up being a really, really, really bad situation where somebody brought in a Shamiqua doll. I don't know where it came from. I don't know who it was, man. And it's a doll. It's maybe, I don't know, 1.5 foot tall. Typical kid's doll, but it's specifically a black girl. All right. So it become like our mascot for like 2 months. You know, we'd move it around the dining room, we'd put it in the kitchen, whatever. Everyone enjoyed the Shamiqua doll. Well, after every shift, we'd go down this balcony, elevated balcony, and we'd get our shift drink, which is like drink until you can't anymore. Smoke cigarettes, shoot the S. Well, Shamiqua, quote unquote, is sitting out there with us. And we had just done some catered event, and we had a bunch of helium balloons left. So our big thought was we tied these around Shamiqua, and we let her float away, right? We're going to do our big goodbye to Shamiqua. That was the idea. We're all in on this. We all think it's just funny, because anytime something floats away in a balloon, hilarious, right? So we tied the balloons around her. We realized, okay, we have enough that she can finally go airborne. Outside of this museum was this tall kinetic sculpture that spins around called the Whirligig. And even though this thing was directly off the balcony, and it would swing by like every 35 seconds and be this big, we knew what was there, but you get used to it. So we go to launch Shamiqua, and as soon as we let it go, the Whirligig comes around, catches Shamiqua. And now it looks like a noose has been tied around her head. Keep in mind, it's a black doll, so now it looks like some deep racist stuff has gone down. She's hanging by her neck on this Whirligig, but the Whirligig keeps spinning. So this poor doll is now just being whipped around in circles, about 45 feet off the ground, hanging by her neck, which is just the happenstance of the balloons, right? Because the balloons popped as soon as it touched this sculpture. So there's nothing we can do. We realized, like, man, even if you tried to climb this thing, it's going to rip you in half because of the gears moving around and all this. We're like, what do we do? And it's like 20 minutes. And every time you hear the, there's a little Shamiqua flying by again. And we're like, this is bad, guys. But there's, like, literally, there's nothing we can do. So finally, we just close up shop. Everybody goes home, get to work the next day. Everyone's trying to play ignorant, man. And I mean, security guards, 3 black dudes, they are pissed. Hey, man, Joel, see who the F did this last night? We're like, no, man, what happened?
Yeah,
and
what happened?
Here's the thing. She's still up there spinning around. But it's not even the problem. It's a kinetic sculpture, so it just moves because the wind blows. Like the fire department can't even just take a ladder up there because they're going to get smashed off their ladder and taken the F out. So Shamiqua, for about 2 days, it's this. And I mean, again, this museum, they have things like love on the side of their buildings and neon letters, you know, and it's all this. Everything's about encouraging, being good to one another. But if you visited that museum for about 2 to 3 to 4 days after that, there's this effigy swinging by its neck from the Whirligig. I don't know if they ever put it back. We never really heard about it again. Eventually, it was taken down, but we're like, guys, this is about as bad of a look. And even, so every day when I'd come into work, I'd make it a point to walk around the side of the building, to look up, and I'm like, oh my God, she's still there. And even though I understood it was an innocent thing, I know how it happened. I'm like, this is the worst look ever. Yeah, it kind of became a bit of a deal in Baltimore there for a while. Talking about racism, we're like, oh my God, we cannot ever confess to this.
Now there's just black Barbies.
I know.
There's a black American Doll girl in 1993.
In 1993?
Yeah, I just looked it up because I didn't know that either.
Don't buy anything from them.
Don't.
American
Dude,
Girl?
Don't do it.
All
They
right.
never, ever leave you
will
alone.
be on their mailing list.
Oh, I know. I
until
bought
you
them for
die.
my niece years ago, and they sent me catalogs every year.
What's the
Still send them to
craziest
you.
or the most scandalous thing that has happened at your workplace? 206-803-ROCK.
With LinkedIn Jobs, we tap into a network of more than 1 billion professionals to help you find quality professionals quickly and easily for any role you need. Marketing wizards? Found them.
Software engineers?
Found. That project manager I could never seem to hire? And found. LinkedIn Jobs quickly matches your roles with candidates with the right skills and experience. In fact, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Post your first job for free and get started at linkedin.com/decide. That's linkedin.com/decide. Terms and conditions apply.
Shall I take your order, or do you need a minute?
Yes, I'll be ready. Just buying a car on Carvana.
What?
It's super convenient. I already got pre-qualified in 2 minutes. All I had to do was answer a few questions.
What? That's handy.
Yeah, now I'm customizing my down and monthly payments.
What? That's an exquisite deal.
And just like that, Carvana's delivering my car in a couple days.
What?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'll have the burrito.
Visit Carvana.com to finance your next car.
Financing subject to credit approval. Delivery fees may apply.
You've probably heard about generative artificial intelligence, but are you vigilant to its exploitability? Generative AI is shaping society and transforming our daily lives. While we want to embrace the potential, we must also set the standards for responsible use and safeguard the future of our digital world. HackerOne employs over 750 active ethical hackers that specialize in prompt hacking and other AI security and testing. The creative approach taken by a diverse pool of ethical hackers is the best way to discover vulnerabilities. When launching new AI deployments, let HackerOne's AI red teaming address the novel challenges of AI safety and security for your business. AI innovation can only be effective if models are tested for safety and security issues that could cause harm. Make sure your AI models and deployments can't be tricked into providing information beyond their intended use, and that security flaws can't be exploited to access confidential data or systems with HackerOne. Learn more about our AI red teaming today at hackerone.com/AI.
This spring, break away and visit Fort Collins, Colorado. Seeking a culinary escape? Local restaurants offer exclusive specials during Great Plates of downtown Fort Collins. Love live music? FOCO MX is a 2-day festival with hundreds of Colorado artists. Eager to be entertained? The Lincoln Center hosts comedian Mike Birbiglia and an evening with John Cusack. Plan your travels at visitfortcollins.com. Fort Collins, where adventure casual is a way of life.
99.9 KISW. The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill.
What is the craziest or the most scandalous thing that has happened at your workplace? 206-803-ROCK. A police officer on duty sent to check a suspicious car in San Antonio, Texas about 2 weeks ago. And he discovered 48-year-old Sheila Eubank inside, tied up with a rope. After being taken to the nearest police station, she stated that a stranger jumped into her car about 12 hours before she was found, while she was withdrawing money from an ATM in the city. She said that he forced her at night point to drive him to all kinds of places, a journey that she said included several drug deals. Eubank said that after they finished the kidnapper's errands, he attacked her, tried to strangle her with a rope, then tied her up and left her in that car. Well, police were not in a hurry to believe her strange story. However, as they found a lottery ticket in her bag bought that day while she was, quote, allegedly being kidnapped. So officers managed to obtain security footage from the store where the lottery ticket was bought, in which the 48-year-old was seen entering the store alone, seemingly unharmed, not in a hurry, and even lingering to have some small talk with the clerk. I just wanted a day off. Afterward, officers watched the security footage of the ATM, where she also seemed calm and unharmed. They confronted her with the facts in further questioning, and eventually Eubank cracked and admitted that she just wanted a day off from work. Now she is facing charges of impersonation.
I mean, again, like we said at the top, just call in sick. There's only 50-50 chance that they believe you anyway, but no one really investigates. But you're going to tie yourself up and wait in a car for cops to find you because you wanted a day off. Doesn't that seem like a bit much?
Seems like a lot.
Well, it kind of ruins the day off, too.
Well, yeah, right.
If
you took your day
off, I want to lay back on the couch, watch TV, play games, whatever it is. I don't want to have to sit into the back of a doggone car to make it look viable as to why I took the day off.
Right. I just spent your day off. Oh, tied up in a car until the cops showed up.
Right.
Then had to lie to the cops.
What's
and then
the
go through all that.
point?
It's got to work.
One more.
That is a lot.
A woman in Utah is facing charges after she allegedly made up a bomb threat so that she could leave her job early. According to the Summit County Sheriff's Office, a 21-year-old from Coleville sent her father a text message. Call 911. There's a bomb threat at my job. The father then alerted police, and officers were dispatched to the Park City outlets, where the woman worked as an assistant manager at the Route 21 clothing store. During the investigation, it was found to be a fake threat, according to the police. The assistant manager admitted to calling in the threat to her father because she just wanted to leave work. The sheriff's office said the issue was resolved quickly, as no evacuations actually took place.
My God.
At least that one makes sense, though. Because now you get to leave. Yeah, at some point somebody's going to come up and notice that there is no bomb in there, and do not do that.
But also you're freaking your own family out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm the father and my daughter sends me, like, I'm freaking out, man.
Sure.
Right.
I'm
calling 911, but then I'm driving.
Absolutely.
To the location.
But at least then you get to go home.
Yeah, she did get to go home.
Yep. She's not spending the day, as a hostage on a fourth floor to make it actually look convincing.
Yeah, I do appreciate hers more than the tied up in the car.
Right.
I'll give her that, but not by much.
So I'm going to take things back to the auction here real quick. Another thing that we have out there that dealers can go and check these cars out before they go out for sale, and this can happen days before the auction as well. But we also have a test track that's out there that they can actually get them up to speed and see how the car handles before they put them out there. Because contrary to popular belief, they do want to get good product out there onto their lot. Yeah. They do want reputable cars that they can sell out there, right? And we did get this story many years back. of an accident that happened out there. Somebody had grabbed a sports car. It was like a souped up Mustang or a Challenger or something like that they roared on down there, and they burned it out there at the end at the turnaround. Came on back. They lost control of the thing, tipped it on its side. It skidded along the thing, ricocheted into the fence. They wrecked this high-powered sports car, right? And so the manager goes out there and he's talking with the dealer and says, "Yeah, I get it. Accidents happen, man. I know. So how much were you thinking? Were you hoping to get this car for?" He says, "Honestly, I wasn't hoping to get the car. I didn't plan on buying it at all. I can't afford this thing. I was just test driving it just to joyride the thing." And it wasn't even him. It was the guy's kid who had his girlfriend in the car, and they went out driving the thing.
Jesus, man.
So, needless to say, that price tag got a little bit higher for that guy.
Yep. Wow. What are they charging? Do you know?
I don't remember the actual price of it, but they got full value for the car. I guarantee it.
Okay. We go to Massachusetts. This is a wacky one. A janitor at Plain Ridge Park Casino charged with trying to poison 2 coworkers that she did not want to work with by intentionally pouring chemical cleaner into their sodas. A spokesperson,
they'll never taste that,
for the Attorney General said that Alexandria Martel pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, as well as 2 counts of attempted poisoning. Police said that they arrested Martel Tuesday at the casino shortly after coworkers reported that their sodas had been tampered with while left unattended in a storage room during their break. Now, the coworkers, who were described as a man and a woman from Pawtucket, later returned to the room and each took a sip of their soda before both spitting it out. They both said their drinks tasted like they contained chemicals. Court documents note that investigators saw Martel on security standing in front of the drink cups, raising her arms as if she was pouring something into the sodas. When questioned about it, authorities claim Martel admitted pouring a small amount of cleaner into the cups. She allegedly told investigators that it was a spur-of-the-moment decision, but that she had problems with the coworkers for a while because the woman would accuse her of not cleaning her bathrooms and not inviting her to breakfast with her coworkers.
Oh, my God.
According to court documents, Martel said she hoped they would get nauseous, so I would have to work with them tonight. She was held on $500 bail with a condition that she stay away from the casino and have no contact with the alleged victims.
Wow, man.
Tried to poison.
I mean, look, I get not liking coworkers, right? There's a lot of jobs, but like, you're going to kill them and poison them?
Well, she just wanted them to go home early that day. That was her argument. I wasn't trying to kill them. I just wanted them to leave early so that I didn't have to work with them. There is a dude who did straight up try to poison a couple of his coworkers over a period of like 18 months. Some like Berkeley engineer guy.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't remember what, he was using, it was like cadmium, right?
18 months.
Cadmium in her food and water.
Yeah, for 18 months. So he'd used a small amount. I guess it's that, radioactive, toxic, poisonous, whatever the word might be. So he can only do a small amount, you see. Because if you did a big amount, then they immediately go, she's been poisoned from this, who has access? But as I understand, if you do little doses over a long period of time, typically medical examiners will come up with like 3 other things before they piece together that, so you can say it's a bad heart condition or her bones were breaking down, but it's a result of this thing that you're putting in someone's food or drink.
That just seems ridiculous. 18 months.
18
I can't
months.
imagine ever being mad enough that I wanted to kill somebody.
But staying mad for 18 months?
For 18 months, it's like, damn.
I got a 15-month cutoff. If my poison has not affected you. So, Ted, you got another 2 weeks, you're in the clear.
I mean, that's just kind of evil. I guess killing in general is evil. But
that's different.
It's
different.
Yeah, it's really bad. Like, I could fathom a crime of passion.
Right.
Or just losing it one day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people snap, but like when you snap.
What happened to Mike? Like, I don't know. But I suggest you stop asking, or maybe you will disappear like Mike.
He liked to ask questions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
More from the comments.
Aren't you having fun?
The big bosses at a newspaper scolded the entire staff for spreading a baseless rumor that the manager was sleeping with the head of shipping.
Okay.
Then a week later, they got arrested while having sex in a car, in a park.
Baseless. Absolutely baseless.
Yep.
That's such a manager move, too.
It is.
Scold everybody. Like, listen, it wouldn't be a rumor. I got news for you. I have worked in the corporate world for a long time. Girls, saw it earlier. Bars and restaurants, it's kind of out the window.
It's a different thing, right?
You know. But, I mean, when I worked at the AFL, any radio station I've worked at, like, you can't cover it up that well.
You can.
And you can tell. People interact a lot different. And then if there's ever an event where there is booze around,
you'll find
they're
out.
They're terrible at it.
Mm-hmm. So I said I appreciate that about bars and restaurants. So it's like, look, man, coworkers have sex. Bars and restaurants go like, yes, we do. And no, but right, it's not scandalous. It's none of that. It's none of that kind of crap. It's like they've been banging each other on and off for the last 3 years I've worked here, and nobody cares. They said, well, the manager's sleeping with her. Like, yeah. So what? But right in the corporate world, it's like, hey, man, you can't talk about that. No. But listen, it's called gossip. Yeah. If somebody saw something, and when there's gossip on a coworker, it can be good gossip, it can be bad gossip, it can be, man, they have the smelliest farts, don't follow them in the bathroom, they're sleeping with this person. Like, it gets around.
Sure. No,
right? It's inevitable.
Yeah, and then if the boss comes out and is like angrily scolding everybody, like completely baseless. All right, so it's obviously happening.
Yeah, then we know it's happening. We know it's happening. We had a woman that worked here years and years and years ago. We did not know that she had a crush on Miles. And we were doing an event, and the alcohol starts flowing, and I guess she, at that point, started making her feelings towards you a little more clear. Miles was not interested. No big deal, right? This was on a Friday or a Saturday. But we get to work that Monday. That person is no longer working here. So we went to the then sales manager and said, what happened to so-and-so? She's like, she was so embarrassed after that event that...
I don't remember saying anything mean.
You did not.
Oh, she quit because she was
quit,
embarrassed?
and that manager at the time, who we were all very good friends with, she was like, she doesn't understand what it's like to work here. Nobody cares. No. But she was so embarrassed. Yeah, she literally quit.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. And it wasn't, I mean, it's not like
Do I know who this is?
I think she was here before you were, and she wasn't, like, making a fool of herself. It wasn't anything like that.
Just admitted to it, and that was enough.
I said, look, she probably didn't know I was married, maybe. So I think basically what I said was, oh, man, that's really nice. I appreciate it. I'm married. You know,
right.
I can't.
You said there was nothing.
No, there was no, like, I didn't say, like.
Well, I don't think she ever meant for it to get out at all. You said the alcohol started to flow there, so maybe she just got a little bit loose and decided to tell him. And
it wasn't
worth
leaving your job.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what happened.
I felt awful. I was like, Jesus, man.
I know. Why did she quit?
Right. Like, I didn't. I mean, typically, look.
I mean, that's her choice.
And it is her choice. Yeah. We were like, damn, man, ease up. It's fine.
No, trust me. I mean.
It does.
Miles Montgomery breaking hearts and losing jobs.
If I had said something that I thought was, not appropriate.
No, you really didn't. Which is unusual for you.
That's
but
what I'm
you
saying.
Actually didn't.
Typically guilty as charged on that. But that was not the case on that one.
One of the texters says, "Hey, Will, I've crushes on Miles. Okay." All right.
This was when we were younger. You know what I mean? Like, this was a long time ago. So
12, 15 years ago, I guess.
But I don't, we came back to work and someone told me, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Right.
I felt awful. Like, I kept
you felt bad.
I kept replaying in my head, like, what in the hell?
Nothing.
Yeah. As far as more scandalous things from the comments, someone's boss allegedly mixed her own pee into the water cooler and let her employees drink from it.
Oh, come on.
That's
everybody.
Fired. Yes.
That's everybody. I get it. If you like, I would threaten VD by putting my penis in his thermos, which drives him crazy.
But the idea was that you weren't going to touch the edges.
It was not going to touch any part of his thermos. It would be like penis air inside of the thermos. I said, look, it won't touch any parts that you actually consume the liquid. It is in the dead space, the vacuum of your thermos. Just drop it in there, touch nothing, yank it back out. And he's like, I would throw my thermos away.
Yep.
Like, all right.
A doctor and nurse were secretly having an affair, and no one knew up until he got mauled by a bear on a rafting trip. The nurse was also on the rafting trip with him and saved his life.
Aha! Damn. How did you find out about the affair? I was mauled by a bear.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big That's going to be I'm just going to say that for everything now.
What's that? Got mauled by a bear?
Yeah, like, how did that happen? Like, I got mauled by a bear.
Please don't ask me any more questions.
Yep. And someone at a call center.
I don't want to talk about it, dude.
This makes sense being that it's a call center. Someone at a call center used the bathroom and smeared it all over the walls. The bathroom not open to the public. This was a business that...
Yeah.
So it had to be an employee, but no one fessed up. And the amount of people coming in and out of that job, no one was quite sure because people were leaving and coming on a daily basis.
Yeah, that's not a job anyone ever seems to like.
No. I haven't heard a good thing about that one.
That happened at the pool, man. One of my buddies went in there to clean up the locker room. Thank God that we just hosed those places down there because he went in there, one of the few stalls that actually had a toilet in it. Somebody had gone in there and just started painting the walls, man.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. I've been angry. I've been super angry. I wanted to do something petty to get back at someone. I never thought I'm going to grab my own turds and draw with it. Like that. I will come up with anything else.
I'm not sure he was
first.
all there, Steve.
Oh, really? You think? Do you know who did it?
I have no idea who did it.
Do you have suspicions?
No.
Really?
No.
Huh.
No, my buddy was the one that had to clean it up. I don't think it was nobody that anybody knew. He was just in there and he just started going off.
Dude, when I worked at that terrible bar in College Park, there was one guy that would come in and drink like 2 beers and would just destroy the bathroom. We just stopped serving him.
Every time?
Yeah, it just wasn't worth it.
I mean, he couldn't hit the...
I don't know. It was like, he would come in, I guess, like after work, because it was like, but it would be awful every time. Like clogged or crap all over the toilet. So it was me and a couple other guys that kind of always ran that happy hour shift. And I was like, it's a bar. We have the right to, refuse service.
Did you tell him why?
No. Also, he sucked.
Okay.
And it pissed him off. So once we really knew that, because he would drink with other regulars, and they were like, we're going to let Tom back in. Then it was like, well, never, because we didn't like him to begin with.
Did you tell them why Tom was not invited back in?
The cool ones.
Okay.
And they would laugh and go, yeah, man.
Oh, they knew?
Yeah.
Jeez,
that guy sucked.
Now, if you've ever gone to a corporate event, oftentimes shenanigans can happen at corporate events. As far as you're traveling maybe, or maybe you're just taking over a Marriott ballroom for a weekend or whatever the deal is. People are sleeping in hotels, but you go to an event and, things do happen. This is not what anyone expected. A party for employees of a software company called Vistex. The entire software party ended in tragedy when the company's CEO was killed and its president was seriously injured. Now, this was obviously a freak accident. There were 700 people that were in attendance from Vistex at this party in India to celebrate Asia's 25th anniversary when the CEO, Sanjay Shah of Chicago, and President Raju Datla were lifted above the crowd in an iron cage during an aerial show for the crowd.
Okay.
So they were either being lowered down onto the stage.
Like a couple lions?
No, yeah, basically, but that was their entrance. They were on a platform,
Your
and they were coming down.
Tech CEO, your entrance must be grand. It must compete with Kiss or Cirque du Soleil. You can't just walk onto a frickin' stage, stand at the podium, and talk.
So wires holding the cage suddenly snapped, sending them in tumbling 20 feet, but the surface below was a concrete stage. Shah, who founded Vistex in 1999, he died at a hospital, and Datla was still reported to be in critical condition. A director of Vistex alleges organizers of the event failed to implement adequate safety measures.
You don't say.
Police are investigating the accident. In addition to a lack of safety precautions, the director wrote in a police complaint, it took close to 15 to 20 minutes for the event organizers to arrange an ambulance to transport the two to a hospital. We had to transport Raju in our car. The flag at Vistex headquarters in Illinois flying at half staff.
How does it take 15 to 20 minutes? It might take 15 or 20 minutes for them to get there, but not for you to arrange for it to be there. And I saw the video of this, and it's 700 people, like Miles said. It's like a ballroom or something. And these guys are kind of being introduced, and you hear them all cheering, as you're supposed to do when the big boss is coming in. And this thing just kind of snaps, and you see two bodies drop. And that is it.
Yep.
Yeah. Just walk on stage.
Have you guys ever had, I know death is a deep thing, but have you guys ever had any situation at work where you found out?
The guy at Chi-Chi's, man. He was a waiter. He was kind of a weird dude, nice dude, but he's the guy that I'm working as a dishwasher, and he'd bring in the half-eaten food from whatever table he cleared, and he would always take a bite out of, their half-eaten burrito. That's just what he did. It was gross. But whatever. But he ended up dying at work at Chi-Chi's, man. Died at Chi-Chi's. That is not the way to go. Changing a fluorescent light above the dishwashing machine, but he's standing on a wet aluminum, like where you stack all the dishes. It's just a long aluminum table. And it's wet because that's where you wash the dishes. I don't know if there's a loose wire or what he touched, but blacked out the restaurant, dropped down onto the table, dead. I mean, gone, brother.
Right.
The worst one I remember.
But they kept the restaurant open.
When I was working at the AFL.
Yep.
They had a lot of construction going on in the building, right? It was like a massive deal. They hadn't redone this building since it was built in like the 50s or 60s or whatever. So the construction guys were always in there, right? And my mom ran, like, basically her and her boss ran the building.
Okay.
Right? They ran the night crew, day crew, all that kind of stuff. You need something done for a party, they're getting it done. And they have like their own staff. So those construction guys were awesome. And one dude ran football cards and everything. He was just that guy. Like, if you look up like a construction foreman that everybody loves, including his crew. It's this guy. But, you know, they were those kind of guys. He went out deer hunting or something, and somebody I don't know if the guy wasn't paying attention, how far away they were, but he caught it. He caught a stray in the head, and it killed him.
Jesus, man.
He went out hunting and never came back. And that was a tough one because, I mean, he was maybe 50.
Wow, man.
Yeah. And that's one of those ones, too. Like, I didn't know him. We didn't know them well enough to, like, everybody went to the funeral, but you didn't go to all the service stuff beforehand. I don't know about you guys. It kind of, sometimes when somebody just dies and you don't see them, like, I don't know how to explain it. It bugs me more.
Yeah, it does.
Because you can almost, like, sometimes you'll see them. And it's like, I know they're dead, but I didn't go to any of the service. I didn't.
Right.
You know?
I think the longest lasting employee at a radio station I worked with, my first full-time job was Monday overnights through Saturday overnights. Mm-hmm. So my only night off was Sunday night.
Right.
This guy who worked at the radio station for 25, 30 years, he only worked Sunday night on the overnight. So at 10 o'clock on Sunday night, he did like a Grateful Dead or a psychedelic show or something like that. And then he would work that until 6 o'clock on Monday morning.
When the morning show
comes in. And that was he wanted to keep that one shift a week. That was what he liked to do. He liked to do that show and DJ that one shift. So I met the guy like twice because that was my first job working there. But I never saw that guy because Sunday night was my night.
Right.
I'm not getting near work. You know, that was the only night I had off a week. I had seen him at like maybe one company party before that, met him briefly. That was all I knew of him. One night, get a call from the morning guy, Tim Satterfield, and he said, hey, because I live close to the station. He said, hey, you know we have dead air. And I was like, I'm like, first of all, dude, it's 3 o'clock in the morning,
and it's not my shift.
You're calling me, and you're not recognizing that this is. Right. I'm not there. And he's like, all right, well, he's like, Dave lives closer. I'm going to see if Dave can go over there and knock on the door. So he called Dave. Dave wakes up. The same guy who got cheated.
Oh, God, poor Dave.
Dave wakes up.
Jesus, man.
Goes over there.
What did Dave do wrong in a past life?
Well,
everything.
He tried to revive him. He had been dead for about. They assumed that he died based on the last CD that he had in where the music log as far as what you're playing. So they looked and said, okay, Van Halen Jump. That's what's in the disc player. That should have been played at about 2:35, and that's the last song. So, you know, they kind of figured out on a timeline when this guy had passed away. Dave did not do that right away. He did not recognize what was going on, so he immediately tried life-saving measures on him. Sure, for over an hour and a half until the ambulance finally came, and he didn't know what to do. And that guy was long gone. And so for the next 3 weeks. I worked 7 days a week until they found someone that could come in and cover the shift because no one wanted to work the Sunday opener. Return of Who Sucks Last coming up, and we've got your emails on the way next to the men's room at KISW.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
With LinkedIn Jobs, we tap into a network of more than 1 billion professionals to help you find quality professionals quickly and easily for any role you need. Marketing wizards? Found them.
Software engineers?
Found. That project manager I could never seem to hire? And found. LinkedIn Jobs quickly matches your roles with candidates with the right skills and experience. In fact, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Post your first job for free and get started at linkedin.com/decide. That's linkedin.com/decide. Terms and conditions apply.
Celebrate and save at Ashley's Anniversary Sale. With Hot Buys, your choice of colors starting at just $3.99. Ashley Sleep mattresses starting at $2.50. Plus, receive a free adjustable base with select mattress purchases. And shop top mattress brands like Stearns & Foster, Tempur-Pedic, Purple, and Beautyrest Black with 60-month special financing. Only at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. No minimum purchase required. Minimum monthly payment, down payment, tax, and delivery may be required. See store for details.
Yo, next round is about to start. You ready?
Yeah, just shopping for a car in Carvana.
For real?
Yeah, Carvana makes it super convenient to shop whenever, wherever.
For real? That's a ton of car options.
Yep, and these are all within my price range.
For really real? You can afford that?
Yeah, with Carvana. And boom, just like that, I'm getting it delivered in a couple days.
For really, really real? You just bought a car.
For real, and you just lost my turn.
Visit Carvana.com to shop for thousands of vehicles under $20,000.
With LinkedIn Jobs, we tap into a network of more than 1 billion professionals to help you find quality professionals quickly and easily for any role you need. Marketing wizards? Found them.
Software engineers?
Found. That project manager I could never seem to hire? And found. LinkedIn Jobs quickly matches your roles with candidates with the right skills and experience. In fact, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Post your first job for free and get started at linkedin.com/decide. That's linkedin.com/decide. Terms and conditions apply.
Introducing the two-way V4, where groundbreaking fuel cell technology meets fresh foam cushioning for the ultimate performance. With Fuel Cell, each step feels explosive, delivering unparalleled energy return. Paired with fresh foam, experience maximum comfort throughout the game. Its lightweight textile upper offers support and breathability without sacrificing agility. Whether you're hitting the clutch shot or locking down the opposition, the two-way V4 gives you the tools to play at a high level. Learn more and purchase the two-way for yourself at newbalance.com.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
The debauchery rolls on. You're listening to The Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Who Sucks Less is coming up, but first time for a few emails from the Men's Room at KISW.com.
You've got mail. You've got mail.
And a couple from our question, what is the craziest or the most scandalous thing that has happened at your workplace? Guys, I used to do hospital security. One day, the police and paramedics brought in a restrained patient. This guy was over 400 pounds, and he was high on a combination of meth, PCP, and cocaine.
Jesus.
He had been tased twice and was still fighting. I have no idea how they got him on the gurney to begin with. It took all 4 security officers, half the ER staff, and multiple police to move him over to the hospital gurney and restrain him again. Between security and bus driving, I could write a book about the crazy stuff that happened. And from Iris, the bus driver.
You think they wake up the next morning, hey, guys, thanks a lot for taking care of me. Do you remember last night?
No.
No, I really don't.
Yeah. Guys, I've been working at a food warehouse since October of last year, and on my first day, 30 feet and 9 rows of pallets of liquids all fell down and on a coworker's leg as he failed to get out of the way fast enough. His leg was absolutely crushed and later had to have both of his legs amputated. I witnessed this firsthand along with at least 6 to 8 other employees. This was apparently the first serious accident in this warehouse since the 1970s. What a way to be welcomed on your first day at work. Cheers, bitches, and have a fantastic rest of your day. And if you can't fulfill that, then you are, That from Alex. As we move on to the birthday request. Dear Men's Room, today is my son Jackson's 17th birthday. Will you please wish him a happy birthday with an original fish sandwich? Are your penises too small? And Coach Ted telling him about how turning 17 does not yet equal freedom, because I still own him for at least one more year. That from his dad out in Ravensdale, Washington.
2 Oregon fish sandwich.
All right, Jackson, Dad's right about this. First of all, you're 17, son. 18 makes you an adult. And I know you think you're an adult, but wait till next year. If you get arrested or busted for doing something dumb, you're going to go to real jail.
Right.
Let that baby booking.
If you can't get charged like an adult, you're not an adult.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to help your dad out on this one, too. Next year, you might turn 18. You live under that house. You live under those rules.
Yeah.
Guys, happy 18th birthday to my daughter, Hayden. Can I get a dirty German telling her about adulting? And you guys talking all over each other about how important school is. Don't hold back. Then maybe a big old bong rip, too. I love you. That from Mama.
Yeah, in Deutschland, adulting means you can finally be invited to the orgy. That is how we do it. Hence, adulting, more than one adult.
Yeah, usually if somebody turns 18, I would tell them to go to a strip club or something.
Yeah.
But this is a female, so maybe I tell her to be careful of the Jackson fella out in Ravensdale.
Yeah, the other flip side to that. Now that you're 18, show me your boobies.
Let's see how important school is. Well, one thing I can
look, man,
you gotta go.
I'll tell you what, I think it comes down just to this.
It is
just get through it. Because in the end, it's just whether or not you have the ability to do what you got to do. The stuff you learn ain't really going to happen, but just get it done.
Guys, my girlfriend has not converted yet to the show yet, so I got to send my own birthday request. I turned 30 years young today, but 11 years in the Army makes the body feel twice that age. So how about Coach Ted with a pregame pump on tequila and the Dirty Germans telling my girlfriend how I want my pineapple upside down cake. I'll thank you guys for making traffic tolerable and keep on rocking. That from Angel.
What birthday is this?
30.
All right. The 30th birthday. Now look, things are getting a little hairy, a little out of control. How do I know? Well, you're pregaming with tequila. All right? I would say either make that into a cocktail or something else. Maybe you got a sip of tequila, but go easy, my friend. I know how birthdays go. You start doing shots of tequila before you go out. You hit a bar. Next thing you know, you're puking off the back deck.
Yeah, you want this pineapple upside-down cake, which in Deutschland, of course, is one of the more flexible sex positions that you could possibly have. I would simply tell her to limber up and keep holding her ankles.
Yeah, I would also remind her that tonight when she's drinking tequila, she has to suck and drink the worm. You can choose what the worm is.
Yeah, just put this in the glass.
Actually, that's mezcal, isn't it?
It is mezcal.
I kind of hate that the truth got out there.
What about the mezcal worm?
Yeah, that was a fun little thing we said for years, and now it's like, even I know things, but technically that's mezcal.
Well, just drink mezcal.
It used to be back in the day that Jose Cuervo would put a worm in their bottle.
To prove the purity or something like that.
They just put a worm in the bottle. I don't know if that was necessary or not.
Did they put it in the bottle, or did they find one in the bottle and said, look, if we keep doing this, people will think we did it on purpose? That's like a guy told me years ago. He's like, when you trip in public, like on the sidewalk, just keep walking the way you tripped, and then people think you have a problem, and it's not funny.
Have you guys ever seen the tarantula in the bottle of mezcal?
Yes, I have.
That's something.
Yes, I have.
Guys, the beers.
I drank tarantula tequila.
Was there a tarantula in the
bottle? No, it's awful. It's blue.
Guys, the Beers on Me podcast would like to wish our co-host Shane, pronounced Shigs, a happy birthday. His affection for Lawnmower Beers keeps our reviews grounded, and tales of his youth have served as a valuable warning to others. So he deserves a Your Penis Is Too Small and some shotgun gets from Thrill. Cheers, guys. Appreciate it. Kick. Fellas. Kick. Fellows, want to wish my wonderful wife, Ray, a happy birthday. Thank you for putting up with me, letting me watch all the football I ever wanted and never The Bachelor. So if Ted could give her a pep talk on astrology and also include You Like That. Thanks from your husband, Ian.
You like that? You like that?
What's her name, Miles?
Ray.
All right, Ray. I kind of thought about this one earlier in the office. Coach was sitting there, and he's like, what am I going to tell her about astrology? And I'll tell you the God's honest truth. I think a lot of it's crap, all right? And if there's a guy interested in it, you know why? He wants to have sex with you. Stop talking about it all the time at the bar. Maybe I'm just in a bad mood because I'm in a bad mood. Not because the moon's out or because something's in retrograde. What's my sign? I don't know. Let's have sex. What's your exact birth time? Like, you want me to call my mother? She's 80 years old. She don't need to be looking at that stuff.
She's asleep.
You're so approachable. That's what I like about it.
That's right. Yeah. All right, guys, here you go. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday. Happy, happy, happy birthday to you, to you, to you.
Ja, the Dirty Germans brought to you by Men's Room Original Sausage. Available through Uli's World Famous Sausage, mensroomlive.com, and other fine retailers. Schweinefleisch.
Now, the Men's Room wants to know who sucks last?
Yay! Time for Who Sucks Last. Stephen Thrill, you bring us 3 stories from the news each and every week. They all suck, but it's up to us to determine out of the 3 stories which one sucks the least. Now, if you happen to follow KISW on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram, the debate is already underway on Who Sucks Less.
Yes, indeed, and let's just get to it. Let us start in England, specifically in Birmingham. And look, people get mad at other people for all kinds of reasons. This one This one takes the cake for me. Andrew Ridley. He attacked a guy named Max Stevens after complaining that the glare from his bald head had ruined his views of the gig at the O2 Academy there in Birmingham. So Ridley, who's also balding, he pushed Mr. Stevens to the ground after saying the venue's lighting was shining in his eyes. Insulting comments were made to Mark Stevens. Witnesses say they saw Mr. Stevens then push Ridley in the chest, but the push was not hard enough to make him fall over. What happened next was that Ridley pushed Mark Stevens to the floor, knocking him unconscious. Ridley then straddled Mr. Stevens and continued to punch him hard in the face and body. Well, Mark ended up suffering a bleed to the brain and needed 3 weeks off work following the attack at a monster truck gig. Mr. Stevens now suffers from high blood pressure, short-term memory loss following the assault, and he no longer attends concerts. Ridley, now he initially went on trial in August, but accused of wounding with intent, but the trial was abandoned after he admitted to causing grievous bodily harm. He was given a 15-month sentence and suspended for 2 years. He'll also have to carry out 150 hours of community service and pay about $200 in compensation. Again, not the worst. The glare from the lights off of your bald head is bugging my eyes, so I'm going to beat you to the point that you have a brain bleed. And keep in mind, the guy who did the assaulting, also balding. Yeah, I don't know what you think. Now we move on. A cleaner. This actually fits in with today's question. A cleaner spiked her colleague's coffee with Viagra. This is what the court heard. 62-year-old Karen Beal, she'd worked at Envirograph, that's a fire safety producer, for 7 years when she was caught lacing the Nescafe instant coffee with a foreign substance. But she was filmed at the factory by a hidden camera after a staff member claimed her morning cup of coffee tasted odd. The drink had blue and white specks in it. Now, police were informed, and it was later discovered that 2 coffee jars contained a number of what they call abnormal ingredients. This included, sildenafil. That's the erectile dysfunction treatment sold under the name Viagra, as well as a medication for high cholesterol. The 13-minute-long footage, it showed Beal wearing blue latex gloves as she picked up a jar of coffee, shook it, removed the lid before replacing it back on the shelf. She'd already put something in. She was checking to make sure that it was still there. Okay. Another clip showed the night cleaner using her sleeve, pulled over her bare hand in an attempt to avoid leaving fingerprints. Now, she denies the 2 offenses of attempting to administer a poison with intent to injure, aggrieve, or annoy. Now, the court, they heard the contaminated jars of Nescafe Blend 37, in case you're wondering. They were found in offices belonging to an accountant and a company secretary. Well, they say, look, the chemicals were not toxic, nor did they necessarily cause problems. It's alleged that Beal, who's a mother of 3, she, in fact, intended harm. The jury in a court case, they heard that she installed a covert camera after she became suspicious at the sight and taste of her beverage. When interviewed by police and told about being filmed, Beal denied any wrongdoing, but admitted that she had, in fact, handled the jar. The court also heard that following her arrest, she was, in fact, fired by Envirograph for gross misconduct. So for reasons we don't know, she's spiking the instant coffee with Viagra for 2 women. I don't know what Viagra would do to women. I don't either. Probably regulate your blood pressure. So they're saying, like, look, it's not a poison, it's not toxic, but you were still trying to cause them harm. All right, so finally, this one is insane. So a Chinese advertising agency, they're being accused by former employees of moving its offices from the city to a remote mountain area to force them to quit and avoid paying them compensations. Follow along. So in what's been described as one of the most extreme tactics to convince employees to resign, an advertising company based in downtown Xi'an City in China, they moved its office to a rural mountain area with very limited transport options. The accusations were made by a former employee who claimed to be part of a large part of the staff who ended up leaving the company due to the new working conditions. The man, only identified as Chang, he said that the company notified them that they would have to travel to the new location in the Qinling Mountains, which required a 2-hour commute one way, with very limited options for those without a personal car. He says, quote, my colleagues without vehicles had to rely on a bus that ran every 3 hours and then walk another 3 kilometers through mountainous paths to reach the office. Chang said adding a taxi ride from the nearest railway cost about $8, and the company refused to cover costs. So the new location was allegedly not only remote, but also lacked basic amenities, forcing female employees to travel to the nearest village just to use a public toilet. But they say the number of stray dogs in the area made that journey unsafe, especially after dark. But despite several complaints from employees, management refused to do anything about the situation. So eventually, after several unsuccessful complaints to the higher-ups, 14 of the 20 employees, including Chang, they turned in a resignation. Bless you, bud. However, just 4 days after 14 of the 20 turned in a resignation, they were shocked to discover that the company had relocated back to downtown Xi'an City. It was actively looking for new employees to take their place. So they're accusing their former boss of moving the offices to make them quit without having to pay compensation. Aha. You see what I'm saying there? All right, so we got the three. We have the guy in England who beat up another guy in England because they were at a monster truck show, and the glare off of the other guy's bald head from the lights pissed this guy off and beat him to the point of a brain bleed.
It was Birmingham, England.
Birmingham, England, yes.
Okay.
We have the woman, for reasons we don't know, she was spiking her colleagues' coffee with Viagra. The belief is that she was trying to hurt them. We don't know what her beef was, but she was, in fact, guilty and on videotape doing that. And finally, the Chinese company that moved from downtown to out in the mountains, they got, 70% of their workforce to quit, which apparently is what they wanted to do. And after they quit, they moved right back downtown and are now replacing their positions.
Okay, now, Ted, I think one sucks the most. You have a guy with a brain bleed. He went to a concert, and he almost died, or he could have.
I was going to say that one sucks the most.
Yeah, that's the most.
It's weird. It's like bald-on-bald violence.
It's bald-on-bald violence, but to me, what makes it worse is, whatever your reason, you punch the guy, you knocked him out, he's on the ground, but after you knocked him unconscious, jump on top of him and continue to deliver.
Yeah, that's bad.
When it's done, it's done.
I'm going to say, and the China story is horrible, too, to try to get out of that situation. From a business perspective, I'd hopefully that company could be sued for that.
I don't know Chinese law, man.
I'll say the woman who spiked her coworkers, who are both women, with Viagra sucks the least because we did not hear anything medical.
There's nothing in the story that any medical complications would happen. That's true.
It's weird. It sucks. But I think that one sucks the least.
Yeah, I mean, the China one's pretty bad, too. Like,
it's pretty extreme.
I can't imagine being a female work there and you got to go to a neighboring village.
And between you and the village are stray dogs.
Right.
I mean, it's just like, you don't even have a female toilet here. Come on, man.
Right. And look, that is extreme, but
a little bit.
Companies leaving cities to have other people not work for them is not unheard of.
Not unheard of.
Right. And then it kind of switches back and forth. Go to a suburban office park these days. But
yeah, no kidding.
Miles, I'm with you. I mean, you shouldn't poison anybody, but I just didn't think Viagra, unless she knew they had heart conditions, that just doesn't seem like that dangerous.
I mean, they even said that. Like, look, it's non-toxic. Law enforcement was like, we don't believe that you knew it was non-toxic. It just happens to be non-toxic, so we can't hit you with certain charges, but we're going to hit you with every other charge we can.
Right. Yep.
I will say this. When I first read that story, I didn't realize it was two women that she had spiked their stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining going home on the light rail or in an Uber, and it's just like,
I have an erection.
Yeah,
I cannot get rid of.
What in the hell is going on?
No matter what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's what made it weird to me. Two women with Viagra. Yeah, okay.
Debate continues on Who Sucks Less if you follow KISW on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Shot of the Day's coming up. You are listening to The Men's Room.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
With LinkedIn Jobs, we tap into a network of more than 1 billion professionals to help you find quality professionals quickly and easily for any role you need. Marketing wizards? Found them.
Software engineers?
Found. That project manager I could never seem to hire? And found. LinkedIn Jobs quickly matches your roles with candidates with the right skills and experience. In fact, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Post your first job for free and get started at linkedin.com/decide. That's linkedin.com/decide. Terms and conditions apply.
Meet the New Balance Fuel Cell 4040 V7, the choice of elite ball players like Michael Harris. Engineered for responsiveness and agility, this versatile option is built for speed demons who demand peak performance. With fuel cell foam underfoot and a synthetic mesh upper, experience unparalleled breathability, comfort, and a secure fit as you round the bases. The nitrogen-infused fuel cell midsole propels you forward with every step, ensuring you stay ahead of the game. Learn more and purchase the 4040 at newbalance.com.
Are you ready to take the next step in your career? King County, a leader in government services, is on the lookout for talented individuals to join our team. King County offers an inclusive, welcoming work environment where innovation and creativity thrive. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting your journey, we have positions that could be a perfect fit. Competitive salaries, excellent benefits, and career development are just some of the perks you may receive. Visit our website, kingcounty.gov/careers, and join King County. Thrive where you work.
99.9 KISW. The shenanigans continue. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
All right, count of minutes. We'll drink it toast with a shot of the day. And we do have your headlines on the way at 5:50. But first, quick check-in with Mike Hogg and some of the stories and headlines he is not working on.
Thank you, Miles. Apparently, many of us have been tearing our kitchen parchment paper wrong.
I saw the headline and didn't read it. My wife uses it because she bakes. I don't, so I'm sure she's doing it wrong.
Is that like wax paper?
Sort of.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
I gotta get some.
Yeah, you do.
Do you?
I don't know, man. There's a lot of recipes I see now, and I'm like, I guess I need that. I mean, it would have to be an intense kind of cooking I'm doing.
It's handy to have in there. Yeah. You know, it's one of those where you buy it and you use it for 6 months before you need more.
You'll have it for a long time, but when you need it, you got it.
Right. So basically, they're saying you need to carefully open up the box and then tuck the thing back inside of it on itself so that it acts as a thing to tear it. Really? I don't know. There's a way that we're doing it, and it's wrong. I'm sick and tired of the revolution that's going through on social media where everything's like, you've been peeling your oranges raw.
No, you haven't.
Right.
Are you eating the peel? If you're not, you did it right.
Exactly. You're using this product that has been made for this specific thing. You've been using it wrong.
Yeah.
If I was using it wrong, it'd come with instructions. I was like, why are you doing it that way?
Hey, you know what else?
What else, Ted?
I'm sick of these food hacks.
Yeah.
You didn't hack anything at McDonald's. You shoved a fish fillet in a Big Mac.
Right.
That's not a hack. It's a decision you made because you like those flavors.
Correct.
Yeah.
People have been doing it for years. Bill Cosby, I know everyone loves him, but on the Cosby Show, his big thing was he would stuff his potato chips on his sandwich. Because a lot of people take a bite of the sandwich and eat the potato chips.
Yeah.
So he would just make it work. It's not a food hack.
Right.
It's what he does.
This is a really good sandwich.
Man, right. I've done it a few times, like on a ham and cheese, bro. Seriously. Lay out some Lay's on there. That boy, so good.
Yeah, I like it, Mike. Let's bitch about more stuff.
Let's do it. You know what? Here, I got some for you, Ted. PETA. You love them, right?
Oh, well, sure. When I'm eating Mediterranean.
Oh, Jesus.
Well done. Well done.
You know what?
Thank you.
Yep. Good job. Good job.
Yep. I'll go chop it up.
PETA, the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. Thank you, Ted. You know what? Yeah, that's all yours, buddy.
Oh, that PETA.
Yeah. People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, they're coming after merry-go-rounds.
This is when they get stupid.
All right.
Listen, there are things...
merry-go-rounds hurt?
Look, there's things we agree with and things we don't agree with. As far as PETA goes, right? You got to have some respect and all that, but certain industries work a certain way.
Sure.
But when you step outside and go, you're depicting animals as creatures that children could ride. First of all, I do not know how stupid you were as a child. And now that I'm a parent, you can see where the stupidity is, but at no point did my kids think, one, they were real animals. Two, at no point has my child ever in their lives asked me to ride a real lion. They have the ability to understand
carousel.
That on a carousel, this lion is a fake lion, and yes, you can ride it. And then in real life, they recognize it will kill you. I don't want to. So PETA, maybe expand your intellect and don't assume everyone's kids are as stupid as your kids. That's all.
Merry-go-round is more like, to me, when you say merry-go-round, think about one in a playground the kids are spinning.
Okay.
Whereas aren't you fancy? Carousel must involve the animals.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, that's the problem. They're writing an ostrich. They're writing a fake ostrich.
It is depicting animals that is depicting them in a way that they are used for entertainment and amusement, and that's setting basically it's normalizing that behavior toward horses, which they don't like.
That's why there's so many serial killers. No, sir, because Dexter came out.
That's right.
And they made it okay for all of us that want to be serial killers to be serial killers.
That's why meth is legal.
Right. Back up, shut up, and get over it. Guys, don't assume everyone is as stupid as you are. I'm sorry, man. There's just certain things you're like, really? Really? No. How about Disney? Lions don't talk. They would not say Umkata, Bayada, whatever the hell they say.
Hakuna Matata.
I don't know. I didn't like the movie.
I will teach you Swahili, sir.
Mike.
I don't know why.
Took Swahili in high school. Comes in handy in Engelclaw, man.
Yeah, you two walk in a room. Who's the Swahili teacher?
I've talked to Mike.
It's obviously Mike.
It's Mike.
Hey, look, his wife is from Tawanda. That's close enough.
There you go.
Mike, did you get a Swahili badge in Boy Scouts?
Or the sash.
On the sash? Yeah.
And speak Swahili. Damn.
Oh, boy. Bad news for those of you that partake in the green, because Canadian researchers found that regular cannabis users are more likely to develop an anxiety disorder.
Well, I can't relax. Well, it's not my fault. It's the whole point. Everyone's watching me, man.
Right. Well, I feel like that's not unknown either. You smoke weed, you get a little anxious. You get paranoid if you do it a little too much.
But it also depends on the strand of weed.
That's been
right?
known.
I've been smoking for longer than I should admit, right? But there's still some strands where like, ooh, I feel more paranoid than happy, but I know what I'm doing, so it's fine. Other ones, I'm like, this is the most hilarious thing ever. You don't know.
Sure. Yeah, some sativas can be, like, people are like, this is great. You could work on it, this and that. I'm always like, nah. I like smoking weed at the end of the day to kind of slow it down.
Exactly.
Yes.
I don't want to be a functioning stoner.
Unless you pass me a joint, and then I don't care.
I didn't say I was not a functioning stoner. What I said is I would simply smoke more weed at home.
There you go. So, there you go.
Remember Weed Week?
Yeah.
That should be coming up
I'm
here.
about to say, we got about a month and a half, 2 months
They
here.
told us not to do it, so I say we
They
do it
told you
anyway.
not to put on diapers and try to crap yourself.
This is my point. I heard what they said. I've taken it under advisement. I talked with my counselors, and what they said was, who cares?
There you go.
They'll get over it. They can be mad. And what you
counselors?
say, me when I'm high. Okay. And here's the beauty of it, Mike. When they get upset during Weed Week, because seriously, hey, man, can you guys stop doing that? And we did, but now I'm thinking, let's do it anyway. So they might get mad, but you go, man, you need a joint.
Relax.
If this upsets you, Weed Week is for you.
You don't need to send out a company-wide email every year.
What's the old thing, like the first day of a new job, just going stoned as hell?
Who came up? I've never heard that.
So they'll just assume that's your normal look.
Thank you. Thank you. I've always argued be mediocre at everything. That way you guys don't ask me to do anything later.
Right. Well, it's hard, too. You get, like, unless you come in smelling like weed, I know you look stoned, but if you were like, I'm not stoned, I'd have to believe you. And a little do you know, it's my first day, and I've been blazed forever.
No,
like,
man.
trust me. Remember, Hair Club used to get on me. He's like, how stoned are you? I'm like, I'm hungover. I wish I was stoned.
Right.
Like, if I was stoned, you'd know it.
Yeah. That's right. Son of a bitch.
I know. Like, I'm angry, irritable. Do I seem like I'm stoned?
Right. Now I need a joint.
Yeah. Jesus. Also a nap.
Oh, man. There's a handful of things in life that we collectively all go through. However, we just, for whatever reason, we don't ever admit it. But we all go through it. In fact, there's an entire list.
The Men's Room Top 10. The Men's Room Top 10.
You good, Ted?
10 things we all do, but never admit to. I don't know if we all do this or did this. But as my older brother was discovering himself, I would venture into his room for a CD. And what I found on one occasion was disturbing. It was cylindrical, hollow, and appeared to be constructed from gauze, I assume a sock, and medical tape. And it had blotchy, opaque splotches on it. I'll just leave that image right here.
Your brother's like the MacGyver of masturbation.
That was before the flesh.
He never said that's what it was for.
We know that's what it was for.
Mike, I don't know. You asked that question. The only thing came to my head like, like that one time we tried on women's underwear. At
Nordstrom.
Yeah. Just pull it into the dressing room.
I like this underwear. Do you have it in my size?
Damn it, man. I feel pretty inconfident.
Right. I'll tell you one of the weirdest conversations I ever had in radio. It's an amateur boxer, and he was right below the professional line, right? And he's a tough dude. He's a boxer. And he's dead serious about everything that he says. And we're doing this interview. And I said something about what you wear under your boxing shorts. And he's like, yeah. I put on Victoria's Secret underwear. I think he's joking. So then I realized his face has not changed. Like, you're being serious? Yeah, what's wrong with that? Well, you're a professional boxer, so nothing. But dude wore Victoria's Secret
Silk.
Women's underwear, silk specifically, under his boxing shorts when he boxed. And the thing is, when you watch him box, he'd beat the piss out of people.
He was unapologetic about it.
You bet.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm not going to say anything.
There was
that was a beast.
There was somebody, I think it was an improv artist, I heard this story, that he got over his fear of stage fright by putting a bagel in his pants every time he went up there on stage. It was kind of the inside joke that only he knew about, and so it got him to quit focusing on the crowd, focusing on him, because all he could think about
is, there's a bagel on my pants.
I have a bagel in my pants.
They put it in the front or the back?
The front. Yeah.
You had to ask.
Well, I don't know.
I would definitely do front, man.
Yeah.
If you said you must put a bagel in your pants, I'm definitely going
Well, you
front.
can hold it into place.
You're going to double O-ring it?
It could be like a little pool floaty for your boys.
Get like a little hemorrhoid pillow?
Yeah.
Have you ever done that with a donut?
No.
Oh.
Done what with the donut?
Oh, bring it to somebody.
Serve it up, as it were. So these are things that we all do but never admit to. Or maybe we do.
or maybe we do.
I think I like donuts too much.
You ever done that with a donut?
But I guess
it's not your donut.
She's eating the donut.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We sometimes enjoy others' misfortune comes in at the bottom of the list.
Oh, sure.
You're darn right.
Yeah.
Especially depending on who it is. Sometimes you see the person that's like, just dessert showed up.
Yeah.
Finally.
Other times, good people, you feel bad for them.
Yep, it's fact.
I think the common line you always say is, couldn't happen to a better guy.
That's right.
Right. And when
That
you
is
hear
right.
that, we know exactly what that means. He sucks good.
We don't always like sharing.
No.
Of course not. That's why we have to be taught to share when we're younger, because it sucks. I'm losing out on what I have because I get to give you more. Hooray, I'm a good person.
Do I see the benefit? So they've done studies on this, right? They do it, and it sounds bad, with monkeys and with little children.
Mm-hmm.
Adults leave the room. Will they share? They got the camera on them, and they found that kids, believe it or not, if it's someone they know and are close to, they will share because they want their friends to be happy. It's a good sign for humanity. The bad sign for humanity is if you're a stranger, like F you. Monkeys and the land, they actually share.
Also, sharing responsibilities. I mean, do you have a closet in your bedroom?
Yes.
What percentage of it is yours?
0.
Do you have drawers in your bedroom?
No.
So everything's in the closet.
Everything's downstairs.
Where's your clothes?
Downstairs.
So you have to go downstairs to change.
Correct.
See, that's not sharing.
No, it's not.
Not alone.
No.
That's being married to an only child.
I mean, even as an adult, there's certain times like I'll share stuff, then there's not.
Right.
I mean, look, I'm sure you guys, if somebody outside a bar, you don't mind giving them a cigarette.
No.
But if you got 1 or say 2 left,
No.
you got to take the bus. You're going to be like, no, I only got those left.
But there's certain things where you got to be a hard ass. So the kids are, hey, you seem to like the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Can I try a bowl? No.
Yeah.
You can have a spoonful of mine. They go, this is really good. I know it's good. That's why you can't have any. There are certain things I have no problem telling the kids, not going to share. Been stealing my son's, what is this, Snapple peach tea?
Yeah.
This S is delicious. So he got wind of this. And a couple of days ago, he's like, Dad, you keep stealing my Snapple tea and taking it to work. I said, how much money have you spent on it? And then there's dead silence. I go, right, you're sharing now.
Yes.
You're sharing. I did not know it was delicious.
Things we
I was going to say, like on Christmas Eve, my sister sent me these fancy miniature cupcakes.
Okay.
And on Christmas Eve, I had some friends over, and some of them brought kids. They weren't allowed to touch them. I told another
cakes in the house with kids, and they're not allowed to touch.
No,
sorry.
No, that was a gift. I told my other buddy. I literally said, "This is not drunk food."
Yeah.
So they're all for you.
No, I handed some of them out. But
I get to dictate.
I got you.
This is not open.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Things we all do but never admit to. We enjoy gossip. Shows up on the list. While we might publicly condemn it, many of us secretly enjoy a bit of gossip. You're darn right we do.
You call it gossip if you don't care.
Right. Gossip, especially like work. Like everybody's gonna hear it, but like I like gossip when I know the people involved, but I don't really know them. Like, oh, lay it on me.
Yeah. We judge books by their cover. Shows up on the
You
list.
should. It's why they spend money to hire an artist to come up with the cover.
Bro,
Like, don't judge a movie by its trailer.
I don't think they're just talking about books, bud.
Okay, Mike, that's fine.
Well, it's why it's funny that you're teaching Swahili. Right? I'm clearly making a joke about your appearance.
There you go. Everyone has a best and worst friend. Again, these are things that we all do but never admit to.
But to me, your best friend's your worst friend. And I would say, look.
That man.
No.
Write that down on a meme. That's great.
Brother, I've said this publicly. A good friend prevents you from getting arrested when you're drunk and you're mouthing off to the cops, right? That's what a good friend does. Your best friend, when you wake up in the morning in the jail cell, they're next to you like, I got you back, bro. Your best friend is a guy that goes toe-to-toe with you and you still make bad decisions. Right. A good friend, who is not your best friend, prevented you from going through this. Right? I believe that's true. Like, I have a lot of good friends, got a couple of best friends. The best friends and me, we got stories we can't tell.
Okay, but that also means that your best friend might have pulled you into the jail cell.
It doesn't matter.
It matters
You're there
to me.
together.
Because I would have done it with them anyway. And my thing is when I wake up and I go like, Miles.
Yes.
I'm glad it's you.
Rehearsing.
That means whatever I did.
And I go, oh, my knee, I can't move it.
Sorry.
Rehearsing conversations that will never happen. I do that all the time.
What?
I do that all the time.
What's a situation
That
you
never happened.
When you need to confront somebody, or maybe you should have said something.
Oh, I do that a lot after the fact.
I thought you meant like, how did I end up on the moon?
Or if it's something, maybe you messed up or whatever, you know you're going to get a talking to. But
Yes.
you don't
Prep
feel
for
like,
it.
like, all right, well, he says this, I'm going to say that. Or she says this, I'm going to say that.
I do
you
that a
probably
lot.
do it in relationships,
Because,
too.
my wife's usually right.
Which does go to number 2, which is we sometimes talk to ourselves. Dude,
me too.
If I drive into work, I am talking to myself. It is silent. There is no radio. There is no Spotify. There is no nothing. I am silent and talking to myself all the way home.
I do it every morning
Yeah.
before I get in the shower to come to work. Because it's, hey, man, we got a job you got to do. We're going to do, does not matter how you feel.
Hyping yourself.
It doesn't matter. Yeah. Yes, your kids have driven you crazy. That's no one else's problem. Yes, you forgot to do blank, but it's like, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go, man.
But
Nobody
then,
cares.
Do I want to cook dinner or go out? Nobody here.
Nobody here. The number one thing that we all do but never admit to is going to shock you.
All right.
It was him.
I absolutely own up to. And here's the thing about it. Take ownership of what you do. And I say, hey, man, that was me that farted. All you do is get grief.
That's right.
I'm just saying.
All you do is get people get mad at you.
Right.
So you blame somebody else. A ring was found on the coast of Maine, Miles, and the owner didn't want it back.
Why not?
I'll tell you all about it at 5:50.
Thank you, sir. Headlines are coming in at 5:50. In the meantime, it's going to contest on the line, or maybe not, for Profile This.
Yeah.
At 206-803-ROCK, have we made it to drinking time?
Love the flexibility of working in all sorts of places? Well, working on the go seamlessly requires a strong network like T-Mobile. We have America's largest 5G network, so whether you're on a video call at the park or uploading large files at a coffee shop, we have the 5G speed you need. Whatever takes you on the go, T-Mobile's got you covered. Find out more at T-Mobile.com/network today.
Coverage not available in some areas. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
With LinkedIn Jobs, we tap into a network of more than 1 billion professionals to help you find quality professionals quickly and easily for any role you need. Marketing wizards? Found them.
Software engineers?
Found. That project manager I could never seem to hire? And found. LinkedIn Jobs quickly matches your roles with candidates with the right skills and experience. In fact, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Post your first job for free and get started at linkedin.com/decide. That's linkedin.com/decide. Terms and conditions apply.
Over 13,000 people in the Seattle area are homeless. Brian is helping to make a difference through Seattle's Union Gospel Mission.
I was addicted to meth, sleeping in my car, and I couldn't take it anymore. I got off drugs, earned a bachelor's degree in theology, and have almost completed a master's in counseling. Today, I'm the director of outreach at the mission.
And grace will lead me home.
To hear more, volunteer, or donate, visit UGM.org.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
With LinkedIn Jobs, we tap into a network of more than 1 billion professionals to help you find quality professionals quickly and easily for any role you need. Marketing wizards? Found them.
Software engineers?
Found. That project manager I could never seem to hire? And found. LinkedIn Jobs quickly matches your roles with candidates with the right skills and experience. In fact, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Post your first job for free and get started at linkedin.com/decide. That's linkedin.com/decide. Terms and conditions apply.
What's up? It's your boy, the Ted Smith from the Men's Room. And did you know I have a podcast? Well, I do. The Podcast. New episodes uploaded every Wednesday on the Odyssey app.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk. And Steve and Thrillhill to find out who we're toasting.
Yes, indeed. And today we toast Robert McGee of Tacoma, Washington. First, let me share a small part of an email that I got from a listener named David Arbow. Okay. So the email reads in part, quote, Steve, I know you always sing the praises of, and he's right, if you're going to be a criminal, at least be smart. He's 100% correct. But if you must be a criminal, don't also be stupid. That's kind of my thing. Like, I robbed a bank, and then I put it up on Facebook, me counting the money. Mm-hmm. That's just stupid. You actually disgrace humanity. So Dave turned me on to a story that almost met my criteria. Police recently made an arrest in connection with a burglary of a Bellevue Rare Coins in Tacoma. Now, authorities even called the break-in and theft of $300,000 worth of gold and silver coins and gold and silver bars, a movie-style burglary. So what they did is they broke into the vacant building next door. They used a sledgehammer to break through the cinder block wall and then cut through the drywall to get to the rare coins. Now, they'd put something on a pole to block a motion sensor, but still, it tripped an alarm, but they avoided the camera. So when the owner actually checked in real time, when his alarm went off, he looked, and he just saw an empty room. Nothing moving around, just an empty room. So he figured it was a malfunction. That was part of their plan. I go like, all right, Ocean's 11 style. Now, as a result of their theft, the thieves made off, again, with $300,000 worth of a haul. Now, that, ladies and gentlemen, is how it's done, right? We know there's a motion sensor. We know they have cameras. We set up the motion sensor. He gets a real-time thing. He looks. It's just an empty room. Nothing's happening. Yeah. But authorities found one piece of evidence that tipped the scale in their favors. They found a blue crowbar, which already to me is a little suspicious since most are black, with the name McGee engraved on it. And that's why we're toasting one Robert McGee. Brother, you went through all of that to block a camera, trick the motion sensor, trick the owner, all these things, and you left behind a blue crowbar, which is already different, with your name engraved on the side. Yeah, that's why we're toasting you. He was arrested and charged with burglary, malicious mischief, and theft. Come on, man. You're so close. You went through all of that, all these things to avoid detection, and you left a crowbar that had your name on it. You're pathetic, and you're a disgrace to humanity. Like, be a criminal, but don't be stupid. So we pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies.
Down the hola bichola!
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
Stephen Thrill, could you please tell everyone now Profile This is played.
A sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. As we have discovered in the last 45 minutes, our phone lines, I know they crap out a lot, like they literally have not worked all day. They're done. They do not work.
We were like all day. Why aren't we getting any phone calls?
Did they work this morning?
I don't know, because we're in two different studios is the problem. So when we set up the phone line...
But it's the same number, so is it just our system in here? Or is it
that's what I'm saying, but you have to set it up to two different studios.
Oh, it's all...
Either way, yeah.
Okay.
But the whole thing...
Oh, hey.
We figured that out about 4:30. We're like, oh. Anyway, so we can't get a call today. So it's between you guys, and I have one of three categories for you clowns. I have the wonderful world of drugs. I have hit me with your best shot, where you guys the unconventional weapon that someone chose to use as a weapon. And finally, animalize this, where you guys the animal responsible for causing the problem.
I like animalize this.
Good call.
Mike, I love that you headbang every single time we play this. All right. So firefighters responded to a zoo in Germany where an animal named Barney escaped from its enclosure and climbed high up in a tree. The Cologne Fire Department said that crews responded to the Cologne Zoo and zookeepers spotted Barney in a tree outside of his enclosure, but they were unable to coax him down. Firefighters used a ladder truck to ascend to Barney's altitude, causing the creature to flee back down the tree, where he was finally netted by zookeepers. Now, Barney was not injured, and he was returned to his enclosure with some slight murmuring, as they say. Now, the animal was apparently able to escape its enclosure when heavy snow caused some landscaping to bend, which gave him an easy exit. The question is, what kind of animal is Barney? Is Barney a chimpanzee? Is Barney a red panda? Is Barney a tiger cub, or is Barney a lemur? So chimpanzee, red panda, tiger cub, or lemur. Barney took advantage of the snow, climbed out of the enclosure, and hung out in a tree.
You know what? Red pandas are crafty. They tend to climb better than we believe they do, and I feel like they're already on the cusp of escape as is. I think this is a red panda.
Red panda.
Really?
Mike, I would argue the fact that pandas are alive means they're more clever. They are the dumbest animal on Earth.
I honestly...
As far as mammals go.
I think it's a tiger cub.
Okay.
Because I feel like the chimp is so massive, you need something more than a net. Did you say if they tranked him, Barney?
I did not have that in the story.
Okay. You know what? Just to switch it up.
What'd you say? Tiger cub?
Tiger cub.
Yeah, I'll go chimp. Why not? Okay. What climbed up the tree and escaped from the zoo? Was it a chimp, a red panda, a tiger cub, or a lemur? We'll find out next.
That was a tease.
In the fast-paced world of attacking, speed is everything, and that's where the Furon 7 Plus shines. Engineered for accuracy and precision at a rapid pace, it's your secret weapon on the pitch. Experience overall comfort and precise striking, even in the game's fastest moments. The nylon outsole, with its V-shaped stud configuration, is designed for firm ground, giving you the grip you need to outmaneuver your opponents. Step up your attacking game and learn more, and purchase the Furon at NewBalance.com.
Shall I take your order, or do you need a minute?
Yes, I'll be ready. Just buying a car on Carvana.
What?
It's super convenient. I already got pre-qualified in 2 minutes. All I had to do was answer a few questions.
What? That's handy.
Yeah, now I'm customizing my down and monthly payments.
What? That's an exquisite deal.
And just like that, Carvana's delivering my car in a couple days.
What?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'll have the burrito.
Visit Carvana.com to finance your next car.
Financing subject to credit approval. Delivery fees may apply.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
99.9 KISW. We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
Categories analyze this on Profile. This is who in Germany had an animal escape and then climb into a tree. He was eventually captured, help of firefighters and zookeepers, and a big net finally wrangled this guy in. Question is, was the animal a chimpanzee, a red panda, a tiger cub, or a llama?
And we will start with D. Smith. You went with the tiger cub, which actually makes a lot of sense. The cubs are never mind, it was not. Miles, you went with the old chimpanzee.
I don't know how you can net a chimp, but I figured I'd go for it.
Come on, red panda.
And Mike, you went with red panda. You are correct.
They're wild, man. Have you ever seen the red pandas?
I mean, just like videos and stuff. I don't know anything about them.
Miles, like, you know how you say the pandas aren't real?
Well, I mean, it's not that they're not real. I mean,
they shouldn't be.
You got to understand why they probably would have a hard time existing in the wild.
Now, put that into the size of like a Maine Coon cat.
They're kind of like a little raccoon. They put their hands.
They are.
They're not seeing with their hands up.
Yeah,
like, oh, not me.
They're hilarious.
I didn't do it. Now, for all the TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time of 10.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box, the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
Also, one of the greatest performers in NBA halftime history, Red Panda.
Red Panda.
All right, your choices today. You got the Jimmies,
Fallon Kibble,
Seth Meyers,
sure,
Stephen Colbert,
or Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
It's right through the title. These guys have teams of talented writers helping come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late night joke and from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
Catholic priests blessed an MTA tunnel construction site in New York 55 feet below the Grand Central Terminal, while the L train was finally given an exorcism.
Seth Meyers.
Fallon Myers.
A Catholic priest blessed an MTA tunnel construction site in New York 55 feet below Grand Central Terminal, while the L train was finally given an exorcism.
A lot of people are talking about Apple's new $3,500 headset, and the White House just had to remind people to not wear it while driving. Americans were like, how stupid do you think we are, and how rich do you think we are?
Yeah.
Fallon.
Well, guys, everyone is talking about Apple's new $3,500 headset, and get this, the White House just had to remind people not to wear it while driving. Americans were like, how stupid do you think we are, and how rich do you think we are?
Sports announcer Joe Buck went on a radio show yesterday and said he thinks the Super Bowl in Las Vegas is going to be a mess, and, quote, he has no desire to be there. At the end of the interview, he also added, get off my lawn.
That's you, Ted
Smith. Really, is he bitching about that?
No, I think he was just being realistic about what he thinks of Vegas. So he's like, something's going to go down. It's Vegas. It always goes down. It's a Super Bowl. Things are going to happen.
It's also Vegas. He's bitching about it.
Yeah,
but also it's the NFL. NFL does not F around. Once you walk into their stadium, whatever you did outside of that, it ain't happening.
I just get the idea that if Joe Buck had time on his hands, he would not end up in Vegas. Unless it had to be based on work, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in Vegas and now I'm gambling on a slot machine.
I'm a towel having a wonderful time.
Yeah, I mean, right. He does Super Bowls when they're in L.A. The NYPD have announced that the police robot that was tasked with patrolling a Times Square subway station has been retired. Apparently, they caught him stealing cocaine from the evidence room.
Fallon.
Myers.
The NYPD has announced that the police robot that was tasked with patrolling a Times Square subway station has been retired. Apparently, they caught him stealing cocaine from the evidence room.
Seen a little grease on my wheels, man. All right, this one, obviously, there's a lot of Super Bowl talk coming up with the Super Bowl being on Sunday. There's some good stuff. There's some bad stuff. I know I'm excited. I don't know if I'm more, I think it will be a good game, but I'm more excited just to, I don't know, hang out with a couple people, have some cold ones.
Are you hosting or are you traveling?
I am not. I'm traveling to a world far, far away. But DoorDash, they're giving out a prize for basically a contestant. One person can win everything that's advertised in the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Obviously, they've already started listing some of the prizes, and it just keeps growing. Here's what they got so far. All right. Obviously, go to DoorDash.com. You can see all the stuff, how you can enter. They have a FanDuel Kick of Destiny helmet. I believe that's the one Gronk's doing.
Yeah.
I got to start practicing my kicks.
How far out is he kicking?
I don't know.
Okay.
60 bottles of Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
Okay. No, thank you, but okay.
Okay.
I will say.
I can trade that for something, I'm sure.
Gronk's Kick of Destiny will be 25 yards.
Oh, man. I was going to try to kick
chip shot.
I was going to try to kick. Was I going to do a 20 or a 30
I think
yard?
you were doing a legit. You were kicking an extra point, I think.
No, it was definitely a yardage.
Like a 35-yard field goal?
I don't know. I had this argument. I'm going to make a 50 when I turn 50 miles.
Oh. Will you still be 50 when you hit it?
50 for 50. I got to start practicing. I got 7 years.
On the strike of 12 of his 50th birthday, he will kick the ball.
You got to bring those hips through.
And he will go those uprights.
That's all from the core, man.
Yeah, I do. I'll bring my hips through on the kicks, and she better bring them through in the bedroom. All right. All right. All right, I know. All right, again, these are some of the things you could win if you win this DoorDash contest. 288 packages of peanut M&Ms.
All right, I hope you have a lot of friends.
Well, remember, these are ads during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Trust me, you're going to need a lot of friends for a lot of this stuff, Miles. Mm-hmm. One you won't need friends for, a 30-pound bucket of mayonnaise.
Wow. Wow. What do you do with that? Donate it to a food bank?
You eat a lot of sandwiches.
A lot of sandwiches.
Make a lot of chicken salad, tuna salad.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
30 pounds.
30 pounds, that's a big bucket of mayonnaise.
That is a lot.
Is that Duke's, I wonder, or is that like Hellman's? Or
I think it's Hellman's, because I want to say that Hellman's and Best Food, it seems like they might be trying to get rid of Best Foods.
Oh, really?
Because, right, I don't know, I've mentioned this before, but if you grew up on the West Coast and you never travel to the other side of the Mississippi, some things are just different. Hellman's and Best Food are the same brand, but they have different names. Carl's Jr. is Hardee's on the East Coast.
That's it.
So it seems like, I don't know why, and nowadays everybody knows that stuff. Just get rid of it. Call it helmets. All right, Miles, I think you'd like this one. 80 drumstick ice cream cones.
Ooh,
okay.
All you need is a freezer space.
Correct.
Yeah. How do they deliver it to you without the inevitable?
I don't know. That'll be okay.
It's going to be like 1 hour delivery.
Again, you could win this through the contest. 1,000 Popeyes wings to be redeemed at your convenience.
Okay, that's better.
Okay.
You're not getting them at home. You go there.
That'd be pretty cool, man.
Yes, it would.
You get on Puyallup constantly.
Now, Budweiser will have commercials with a Clydesdale. They're not going to give you a Clydesdale. I'm going to give you a Clydesdale horse saddle.
I don't know what I would do with it. And I don't know who owns a Clydesdale that I could sell that to.
That is the issue here, right?
Because ideally, you would want it to be used.
Yes.
So that someone actually could use this.
And it's such a big horse.
It's a massive horse.
Like, I don't know. We got to have some horse people that listen to the show. Like, could you use a giant Clydesdale saddle on a regular horse?
I think it depends on the width more than the length. You can adjust the length, right, with cords and all that in the bottom. But, right, Clydesdales are massive, and I know nothing about horses.
I can tell you this.
Ted, I gave you a seat cover for, I don't know, an Escalade. And you say, yeah, but I own a Miata. But it's yours anyway.
I've seen the Clydesdales in Williamsburg at Busch Gardens. I don't know if like the Goodyear blimp, if there's like 20 Clydesdales?
There's a team of Clydesdales.
Okay.
So some of them, sometimes, like, they go out to certain things. Like, I saw them at the Army-Navy game.
All right.
Because there's definitely some that show up to a lot of
But
stuff.
I'm not sure that, just because I know them as Budweiser, maybe the royal family has Clydesdales. My thing is this. I've never seen someone sitting on top of one.
Right.
I've never seen someone ride one. They're always pulling a coach. So I've never even seen, maybe I have and didn't realize that they're...
I think you know when you see a Clydesdale.
Yeah. You do, but I'm saying I don't think that I've ever gone, wow, that guy's riding one.
Right.
All right, next up on the list, you can get an as-yet-to-be-named Volkswagen.
All right. Whatever. Take it. Sell it later.
Yeah.
On top of that, you get a Kia EV9 SUV.
Now I'll take that.
Good looking vehicles.
I'll take that in a
Easy to
heartbeat.
break into.
Just hopefully you can get it from the Kia Puyallup.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Well done. Well done.
Well, it's got that legendary...
Yeah, 100,000 mile warranty on this.
Yeah. Car washes.
Yeah.
Car washes for life cars.
Right,
It's
yeah.
200,000 mile powertrain warranty. Yeah, car washes and oil
200,000
changes.
miles.
Like
Twice
your
as
car.
much as I thought.
And then last on the list, you can get a BMW i5 M60 electric vehicle.
No idea what it looks like, but I'm sure the resale value is awesome.
It's already run 2 red lights.
And you don't have to care. Yeah. You're entitled to do it. It's a BMW.
It's a BMW. Drive it like you're a BMW owner or like you're leasing it. We don't care. Just make sure you drive it like an idiot. Right? You guys Vince Vaughn fans?
I'm okay. It's fine.
Sure.
It's fine.
Okay, so generally, like, I'm a big Vince Vaughn guy. All right, I think he dominates. Swingers is one of my favorite movies ever made. I have watched it in the last 5 years. I think it holds up fine. Obviously, it's dated. Made is another underrated movie. So I watched this movie last night. I know it's TV, but it's on a screen. Called Arkansas.
All right. Never heard of it.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I enjoyed it. It was kind of it's like a gangster show because they're criminals, but it's kind of like there's funny parts. What would you call it? Like art noir or like a murder mystery noir? I'm just really trying to use noir.
You want to use noir.
You did.
I follow you.
You fit it in twice.
Did you look up noir before you did the show today?
It was on the description. Okay. So that's why I thought. I can't remember how they phrased it. So I was like, I'll use that tomorrow when I'm doing the segment.
Yeah.
It's called Arkansas?
Yeah. And it's weird. It's like a couple guys who aren't really good criminals, and then it all takes place in Arkansas, and they're kind of, and honestly, it's good because when you think organized crime, right? You think about Italians,
sure.
right? Mafia. You think about gangs. You got Latino gangs, you got black gangs, white gangs, clubs. But this one was kind of interesting. Is that they're just like, yeah, it's the South. Like, there's not really a great network. It's just a bunch of idiots, and you shouldn't trust anybody. But there is some funny scenes. Don't get me wrong. Violent movie, right? Like, there's people dying. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I'd recommend you watch it. I think it just showed up on Netflix, so that's why I saw it. But again, I'm kind of a Vince Vaughn apologist, so I was like, ooh, Vince Vaughn, what's he doing?
What you up to, boy?
Yeah, right? What's he doing? Being all crazy? All right, Vince, I see you out there.
That's a stacked cast.
Who
Yeah,
else
right?
is in
There's
it?
a lot of people.
It's got Liam Hemsworth in it. It's got,
I guess I should have started that Liam Hemsworth is the main character.
yeah, John Malkovich, Vince Vaughn, Clark Duke, Kenneth Williams, Vivica A. Fox.
Oh, Vivica A. Fox is pretty good in it, too. But there's definitely funny stuff in there. Let's see. Gina Carano, you might remember her from MMA fighting. Then she was an actress. But now she's suing Disney and Lucasfilms for discrimination and wrongful termination. Basically, she put out some tweets they didn't agree with, so they fired her. She played Cara Dune on The Mandalorian.
That's right, Ted.
She was let go. Disney just said, hey, we find your tweets offensive. So now Elon Musk is paying her legal bills because he says if people get in trouble for stuff on his website, it probably helps if you're famous.
Yeah, well, it goes along with it. Why is he worried about it? It's a company policy. They did what they did.
He has pledged to financially back users who claim they've been discriminated against due to activity on Twitter/X.
I mean, I get both sides. Like, look, the company has a policy, and if you work for Disney, I cannot believe you're so stupid you don't understand what they stand for and what they're about and what they will and will not tolerate, right? right? And you can agree with it or not, which is irrelevant. But if you choose to sign a contract with them, they're very clear about what you can and can't do. So whatever opinions are, I personally do not care. And I still think it's a little petty. But the flip side is companies reserve the right to do that.
And all circumstances.
She wants to be recast and then $75,000 for punitive damages. So, I mean, it's not like the craziest lawsuit.
Disney's probably here.
I will say, I don't know that there's any job you got to take the employer to court. Like that. That's not going to be, even if you get that recast, like, that's not going to be fun on the set.
Well, you're not.
Right. But I like your character. Like, and to me, one thing I will say is, like, I do not, this sounds bad. I don't care about your personal life. I do, human to human. But if I know you as an athlete, actress, actor, whatever, we know you for one reason. Whatever your opinions, I can make a decision about whether or not I want to patronize what you do. But let them be them.
Look, Sage Steele.
Yeah.
I mean, same company. She sued. I don't know what happened. I don't know if she still works there. I don't know.
But we know her personally. I know she's
Yeah, also, I don't know. I think sometimes people just got to pick a lane. I don't really let actors and athletes, whatever side they're on, I don't get too upset about it because you shouldn't get too upset about something I say. Yeah. Right? If you want to talk to me at a bar and know my politics, I'll be happy to. Well, not a bar.
If you in church.
I know you're watching this football game, but let's talk about policy.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like, obviously, I have some, but like, I don't need. Nobody needs to vote on something I say. It's like same thing. It's like I get. She has a point, but also, like I said, like I forget what the tweets were. But if I start tweeting out some pretty racist stuff, like, guess what? I'm not going to be here tomorrow.
Yeah, thank you, Ted.
Why'd you say yeah?
I know that's not true.
Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You're listening to The Men's Room.
With LinkedIn Jobs, we tap into a network of more than 1 billion professionals to help you find quality professionals quickly and easily for any role you need. Marketing wizards? Found them.
Software engineers?
Found. That project manager I could never seem to hire? And found. LinkedIn Jobs quickly matches your roles with candidates with the right skills and experience. In fact, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Post your first job for free and get started at linkedin.com/decide. That's linkedin.com/decide. Terms and conditions apply.
Celebrate and save at Ashley's anniversary sale. With Hot Buys, your choice of colors starting at just $3.99. Ashley Sleep mattresses starting at $2.50. Plus, receive a free adjustable base with select mattress purchases. And shop top mattress brands like Stearns & Foster, Tempur-Pedic, Purple, and Beautyrest Black with 60-month special financing. Only at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. No minimum purchase required. Minimum monthly payment, down payment, tax, and delivery may be required. See store for details.
Love the flexibility of working in all sorts of places? Well, working on the go seamlessly requires a strong network like T-Mobile. We have America's largest 5G network, so whether you're on a video call at the park or uploading large files at the coffee shop, we have the 5G speed you need. Whatever takes you on the go, T-Mobile's got you covered. Find out more at T-Mobile.com/network today.
Coverage not available in some areas. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
The Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. United Flight Crew wonders, hey, who pooped on that seat? Meanwhile, officers respond to a burglar with a bushy tail and 4 furry feet. Drunk Florida man goes to the airport and walks around in his birthday suit. A man finds a wedding ring, tries to return it to its original owner, who does not give a hoot. And a man whose wallet was returned after 40 years exclaims, I'm going to Blockbuster. It is time for your headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my cop.
All right, top story. We got to Maine, where a metal detector enthusiast made an interesting discovery. Like any day with a lower tide, he made his way out to the coast and scanned around to see what kind of treasures he could find. His day was made when he finally found a piece that he could possibly get a little money for, a tungsten ring.
Tungsten. I had a tungsten ring.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right.
The only problem is if it gets something, you have to cut it out.
No kidding.
It won't. No, that metal is it's not expensive. It's just
they were all the rage there for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, they last forever. The problem is if something were to happen, they have to physically saw it off your hand.
Yes, that has been the thing.
Yeah.
But letting his conscience get to him a bit, he decided to put the word out that he had found the ring first in order to possibly find the owner who may have lost it. And lo and behold, he found the owner. After confirming that it was indeed the previous owner of the ring, he was a little taken back to find out that she didn't want it back.
Oh.
Turns out that it belonged to her now ex-husband, who she had just discovered had tossed the ring into the local river. He's now keeping it and will likely sell it.
Yeah,
Good for him, man. Good
Did
for the guy
you
that
buy an
found it.
expensive wedding ring?
Say that again.
For you.
For you.
Oh, for me. Not terribly, no.
No, mine was $100.
Yeah.
I mean, that was fine. It was a band. It's $100.
Pretty much, yeah.
Maybe 150.
I think mine was like $300, something like
Brother,
that.
I just got a tattoo.
Yeah.
It's like $40 done. Out. She did the same. $80 total. We're
There you
cool.
go.
Yep.
That said, the day we got married, no. I spent more than that on the ring she does not wear, but it's tattooed on her finger. Cool. Yeah.
In other news, police in Missouri released body cam footage of the response to a burglar alarm. The video starts with a pair of... Did you see this video?
I heard the audio. I did not watch the video.
The video starts with a pair of officers posted outside of the home that they had just gotten an alarm from that an intruder was inside. Guns drawn, they moved into the house, ready to take down the suspect. But the mission was abruptly called off after the officer found the intruder, a squirrel that had managed to get inside of the home. I just saw it. It's a squirrel. Nope, never mind. Call it off. We're done. Disregard.
It is kind of funny.
Yeah, right?
Put it in the chokehold.
Well, you don't want to put it in the chokehold.
If it were me, you would do it. Why not a squirrel?
That one cop seems like, it's funny because he's like, don't call it all, like, just squirrel, and then when it runs across his foot.
Exactly.
It's real high
Strange story out of Florida, but pretty much on par for what they got going on down there. Footage was released of a man that had parked outside of the airport and walked into the terminal, making a beeline for security. Now, this behavior wouldn't be quite out of the ordinary, except the man was fully nude at the time.
Tase him.
Several passengers darted away from the man as he made his way to a restricted area at the TSA screening. He was eventually apprehended by officers and faces several charges.
Okay. Don't do it naked.
No.
That's all.
I don't get it. Sticking with the airlines, we take to the skies. A flight bound from Portland to Denver got a little more unbearable when a foul smell started to waft through the cabin. Luckily for passengers, the culprit was easy to identify, as some had already heard her talking about it before the plane took off, but a chihuahua that was on the plane that hadn't had the opportunity to hit the relief area before the flight. Yeah, he had a little accident on one of the seats in the plane.
No, he did it on purpose.
Attendants moved in, albeit slower than passengers would have liked, and the mess was cleaned up as good as they could. Passengers were given vouchers for their bad experience.
It was a what do they call those things? Service animal?
Something like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure it was.
And just in case those stories left a bad taste in your mouth,
thankfully, there's good news.
Over in Toronto, we have another story about someone finding something in an air duct. A crew was working on the air ducts of a storage facility when they happened upon a wallet. Inside, they found evidence as to who the owner of the wallet is, finding photos of his family as well as his birth certificate.
Wow. Damn.
They tracked him down. They
Who
found
has a birth certificate in their wallet, man? That's like super ID.
They tracked him down on Facebook and got in contact to return the wallet, discovering that he had lost it nearly 40 years ago. So basically everything that was in there was
working
useless.
for an HVAC company.
In the world of sports, the roster signings continue for the Mariners before the season begins, and they've just signed a player off of waivers from the Pittsburgh Pirates, an outfielder by the name of Kanan Smith-Njigba.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's bothered Mike. He was researching it when I saw him.
And I know that,
What's that?
I know what you're thinking. That's an oddly familiar sounding surname, and you're right. And for those of you wondering, he is indeed the older brother of Seahawks wide receiver Jackson Smith-Njigba.
No way.
No, Mike and I were saying, man, to be a parent and have a kid in a professional sport, that's a big deal.
Absolutely.
You have 2 kids in professional sports, you're proud. 2 kids in 2 different professional sports, you're proud. Both of them in different professional sports are playing in the same city. That's insane.
nuts, dude.
He got signed to the Mariners organization.
Yeah.
Hey, Ted, we got to ruin their thing, man.
No, I'm with you. I think I told Mike earlier.
No, please, just kill this train, Ted.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know that it's ever happened. I'm sure it has, but the baseball brother, he's got to work. He's only. I mean, he got drafted. What did we look it up?
Okay, fine, parents, don't be proud.
Yeah, he's a minor leaguer right now.
Don't be proud.
Look, you can be proud.
No.
Your one son's in Tacoma.
Nothing local on the night, but you've got hockey on TNT, basketball on ESPN, and college hoops over on ESPN2, you and the Pac-12 Network. As far as your weather, temperatures are staying consistent at 40 throughout the night. Expect some showers in the morning, but they should be broken up by noon.
And that's it for your headlines. With that, I guess Tacoma. Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. We'll see you next time for the return of Big Dummy, and the head chef is back with Ted's Meat and Potatoes. Kevin Deers, he is up next.
Yes, indeed. It is all true, but in the meantime, sing it with me, Mike. We be all about this bitch, and we're done. So until next time, please do what you do best, and for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network.
Oh, man!
A Double Flush production.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Whether you love true crime or comedy, celebrity interviews or news, you call the shots on what's in your podcast queue. And guess what? Now you can call them on your auto insurance too with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive. It works just the way it sounds. You tell Progressive how much you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll show you coverage options that fit your budget. Get your quote today at Progressive.com to join the over 28 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
With LinkedIn Jobs, we tap into a network of more than 1 billion professionals to help you find quality professionals quickly and easily for any role you need. Marketing wizards? Found them.
Software engineers?
Found. That project manager I could never seem to hire? And found. LinkedIn Jobs quickly matches your roles with candidates with the right skills and experience. In fact, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Post your first job for free and get started at linkedin.com/decide. That's linkedin.com/decide. Terms and conditions apply.
Celebrate and save at Ashley's Anniversary Sale. With Hot Buys, your choice of colors starting at just $3.99. Ashley Sleep mattresses starting at $2.50. Plus, receive a free adjustable base with select mattress purchases. And shop top mattress brands like Stearns & Foster, Tempur-Pedic, Purple, and Beautyrest Black with 60-month special financing. Only at Ashley. Subject to credit approval. No minimum purchase required. Minimum monthly payment, down payment, tax, and delivery may be required. See store for details.
Shall I take your order, or do you need a minute?
Yes, I'll be ready. Just buying a car on Carvana.
What?
It's super convenient. I already got pre-qualified in 2 minutes. All I had to do was answer a few questions.
What? That's handy.
Yeah, now I'm customizing my down and monthly payments.
What? That's an exquisite deal.
And just like that, Carvana's delivering my car in a couple days.
What?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'll have the burrito.
Visit Carvana.com to finance your next car.
Financing subject to credit approval. Delivery fees may apply.